So uncivilized.
Greetings and welcome to 1-6 Scale Man Probably presents Uncivilized Scoundrels. Your boy Layel with my co-host on here, Mario El Profesoro, as always, man. So good to have everyone here. Um, I'm smiling for a particular reason. I can't tell in a minute why I'm smiling. But thank you for being here. Again, this is the Obi-Wan episode 4 full spoiler discussion. So if you haven't seen it, then definitely this is the place you want to be. If you have seen it, then this is where you want to be, definitely, man. So of course I can't do it without the amazing panel that I have here. Now, mind you, this is going to be met with a bit of divisiveness for this particular episode. I just have to warn you, I know this is the way it's going to be, but at the same time, we have to give our honest opinion. All of us will. And it's a full-on discussion. All you guys can join in. I'm guessing that's why you're here. So definitely so glad to have all you here. But we're going to start bringing in people, and I'm bringing everybody in one by one, specifically for a reason. You'll see just in a minute. Vinny, what is going on with you, brother? How are you, brother?
What's up, man? I'm doing fantastic. This week was crazy. Just from work to all the content from different shows and stuff. This was a really loaded and fun week.
Yeah.
I'm doing amazing, man. We had new Kenobi, we had premiere Miss Marvel, we got Boys dropping tomorrow. We got one of the most underappreciated shows of all time, Peaky Blinders, dropping tomorrow. And then on top of that, this is the busiest time of the year for me. So I'm just treading water, man. Just finished the album cover from my bro Barry Bird. He has an album coming out soon. Just finished up the album cover for him. That'll be on iTunes. His other music is on iTunes. That you can see my cover art for that too is on there. So I've been just, burning a candle at both ends, but the light is so divine.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's so good to have you here. But we're gonna be talking
Good to be
some
here.
good stuff. So we'll see how it goes, man. Ladies first after you. We got in the building. It is so lovely to see you here. You are always like a ray of sunshine. So happy to have you here. How are you?
I am very well. I love coming here on Thursday nights and talking Star Wars with you all.
Yes, I'm so glad to have you here. And it's going to be a very interesting discussion tonight. Next up, we have Mario El Profesor in the building. What's going on with you, brother? What's going on, man?
What's happening, dude? I'm just looking forward to the end of the week, man. Finally, Friday. Payday on top of that. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Put together Frankenstein's trip, man, with some of the people we met up at Celebration. So that's definitely going to be fun. But, hey, bro,
you
want
wait
to go live, show y'all what's up.
to do that. That's deep.
And on top of that, this Luke right here just showed up. This is dope. I really like this figure a lot, man. So
he showed up today. I just haven't pulled him out the box because I'm in the middle of shooting my mall video. I'm almost done with that. That'll be up either tonight or tomorrow morning. It'll premiere tomorrow. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, man. I can't wait to get that bad boy out, bro. It's gonna be crazy, man. But thank you.
And also looking forward to talking tonight's discussion.
You already know,
too,
bro.
Man. That's gonna be.
It's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be fun.
Dive in, man. It's gonna be a fun discussion. So yes. Definitely. Last but definitely not least, I think we got some Imperial influence here tonight. And I actually happened to stumble upon a pilot, a very specific pilot. Indeed, we got C-3PO in here, aka the TIE Fighter pilot version of CC3PO is in the building. Everybody say hello. Yo, that is so dope.
No, not yet.
CCTFP.
Off. I just have to breathe once in a while.
Okay, all right.
CC, how are you? Well, CC, aka the TIE Fighter pilot. How are you today?
CCTFP.
CCTFP.
I'm so happy to be here, taking time out of protecting the citizens of the galaxy from rebel scum. I know that's That's really important. But like, so is talking about this episode.
Yes.
Interesting to hear your thoughts, your initial thoughts. So I think we're gonna have some hot takes about
Yeah.
how the episode was and how we thought about it. So
Yes.
super excited.
Yes. So exciting. It's so good to have you here. It's so good to have everybody actually out there in the building out with us all tonight. How you guys doing? I will adjust the chat real quick. We got Renstown Latino in the building. We got Commander G and aka H Green in the building. Thank you for being here. We got AJ Agrusa, Charlie the Unicorn. We got Vinny out there. We got Toe Bar. My man Keith is in the building all day. Thank you for being here, bro. Philip the Fool. We got Joseph Azar is in the building. We got Calvin Williams. My man Calvin is in the building. Thank you for being here. We got First Lokage in the building. Thank you for being here. They said Charlie the Unicorn is always. Simon is a building. Toya T is out there, baby. Thank you for being here. Aaron Anderson. Who else? We got Two Ferns always in the building. Thank you for being here, brother. Let's see who else we got. Dustin Sabrant in the building. El Profesoro was out there too. Charlie the Unicorn, Dustin Sabrant. We got, and also Superhero Displays. Thank you all for basically being here with us tonight. Dustin Sabrant, everybody, man, everybody. We love you guys. But yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 4. A lot to kind of dissect with this episode. Again, I'm just going to say off the top, I'm thoroughly enjoying the show. You know, I will say that I am thoroughly enjoying the show because there's certain points. The most that I'm enjoying, the big thing I'm enjoying out of it is the relationship between Leia and Obi-Wan. I think that relationship is so sincere and is so emotionally driven. And to basically see that girl and just to, see that she's just basically an echo of Carrie Fisher.
She's phenomenal.
She is definitely
fucking phenomenal. I don't know where they found her, but oh my God.
Yeah, she is, bro. She, to me, like, she's almost my MVP of this show so far.
She's the star of the show.
Yeah, because she's so adorable, bro. And on top of that, she gives it the right amount of emotional beats.
She's subtle. It's so subtle. She's not overacting like most kids like can't help but do. She's so subtle.
Definitely, man, definitely. So I do love her character. Now again, opening of, as always, gives you a flashback of everything that happened with the last episode. So of course, if you're not already caught up, everything that actually happened, we had the, of course, we had the face-off between Vader and Obi-Wan, of course. So we did get a chance to kind of go back and breeze through that slightly a bit. We had everything he actually went through, of course. We ended with him getting burnt. And also we ended here with Leia being captured by the Inquisitor. And yeah, we're now catching up to Obi-Wan. Right now, he is on the ship headed to, what was the name of the planet again? If I'm not mistaken, is it
Julep or something like that? I don't remember.
I can't remember the name.
I kept saying Gemini, but I don't think that's right.
If everybody out there could actually let us know, I keep forgetting the name of the actual planet that we're headed to. But in these particular scenes right now, we see that he's having sort of like these flashbacks of what actually happened. He's in intense pain. Of course, they actually have to, and we see now that they have him on the planet. I think if somebody out there in the name and can keep us honest with the name, what is the name? Jabim. That's what it is. So Jabim. So he's currently on Jabim. They have him in the bapta tank. Now, while he's in this bapta tank, he's having flashbacks to everything, and it's like he has that connection still to Vader, to Anakin. And we see that he's experiencing those flashbacks, still in pain, in a bapta tank, still reliving like the fight between him and Vader. So we see those, we see the back and forth, that connection that he has with Vader the entire time. But he charges out of the actual bapta tank. If this thing would let me pull this up real quick. Let me see here. Here we go.
You might have to hit play sometime. Just let it play out for a couple seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, here we go. So we see basically the fight between him and Vader slightly a little bit, and he's, sort of reliving everything that he's going through, everything he's experiencing the entire time. You see that connection between him and Vader still with the fight back and forth. You can see that there's basically a struggle with him, and it's sort of like, in a sense, they're so linked that they can feel each other's pain. You know what I mean? And I think that's at the threshold of where Vader wanted it, where Anakin wanted it, is for him to basically receive, that level. We see him basically waking up from the bafta tank, realizing that he is out of his element. He's talking to, what is her name again? I keep forgetting her name.
Tala.
Tala? Is it
Tala,
Tala?
yeah.
Yeah, he's talking
Yeah.
to Tala, asking, where Leia is. She's like, look, you're still not healed, but his agenda is to get here. And this is basically, we see the Inquisitor's base. And, this is basically where Leia is being held and being interrogated, between the beginning and now, like these scenes between the Inquisitor and Leia, like, bro, this again, when I think about this little girl, in the range that she kind of gives the character, and just her banter in the relationship with her and Obi-Wan, but also right here, like when we see basically her saying that, my father's a senator, I am a princess of Alderaan, and just basically letting her know like her position and how strong she is as a little kid. Like we're seeing Leia in such a small form. This actress, this little girl, I mean, is a force going forward, a force to be reckoned with. And I loved every bit of what we got from this. Um, what are your thoughts so far? I'm gonna start with Cece, ladies first. Cece, from the beginning of, we actually seen the struggle between, Anakin and his connection to Vader. Vader, of course, sensing that, the pain that he wanted to inflict has been inflicted, and it's like that connection between both of them. Once who was your brother, now your enemy, type of situation, and how it was played off. What are your thoughts so far in that first sequence?
I think seeing like the scene with, and we talked about it too, that we're kind of over the bacta tank scenes unless it's something like that I could totally understand. Just the bringing the bacta scene back, even though we kind of got a bad taste in our mouth from it from Book of Boba Fett, was worth it to see the juxtaposition between Obi-Wan and Vader. What I thought was interesting too, and Vinny, this is a question for you as well. I read that apparently, I don't know what comic series it was, if it was like, Marvel Star Wars, or if it was one of the Vaders that I haven't read yet, but apparently in the comics, Vader, there's like a few panels where he fantasized about burning Obi-Wan and like dragging him through like the lava on Mustafar. So I thought it was kind of interesting that you see them side by side in the bacta tank. And you're wondering, like, they have this connection. Well, it made me realize that I think Vader's connection to Obi-Wan was kind of like satisfied that he burned him, but that he's going to be ready for a rematch, hopefully. Because I've had some like friends be concerned that fight we saw in the last episode before this one is the only fight we're going to see, and I don't think so. I really hope not. And you're totally right when it comes to this actress who plays Leia. I think she's amazing. I think she has a bright future ahead of her. I liked this episode, obviously, even the beginning had a lot of callbacks, especially her saying like, my father's a senator, I'm a princess, to New Hope, in ways that I appreciated. Kind of like some of the only positive things that some people find about The Force Awakens is that it reminded them of New Hope. So I really did like this and this section of the episode.
Yeah, definitely. Especially just the banter between her and Riva, I thought was pretty good. Now, back on Sabine, we actually get a chance to meet, you know who it is, or you see who he is. we get a chance to basically meet the character who a lot of people I know thought would be, we thought we would actually see, or they thought he was going to be Quinlan Voss. I think there was a rumor. I'm so glad that rumor was dispelled because I did not want to see him as Quinlan Voss. I didn't want him to force that, and didn't have to explain so many different things. But we get a chance to see this, this character. We come to find out that he is actually heading up one of the secret bases as part is also transport to get some of the younglings and force sensitives to safe haven. Very reluctant, very hesitant about, having Obi-Wan there. He wants him gone. He feels that he's a liability to the camp and that, basically he could bring harm to the camp and everything. From, just basically seeing those sequences, now we know his role here, and I have to be, the character to shelter the responsibility of transporting force sensitive, seeing someone who was an icon in Obi-Wan, but at the same time realizing like the danger of actually having him there. I think the thing is like I keep forgetting his name.
Roken.
No, not Roken, but his Ice Cube son. What's his name?
O'Shea Jackson Jr.
O'Shea Jackson, yeah. So I think, bro, like O'Shea, he really showed his range here, bro. Like I think he did a good job, and he sold the characters so well. But again, it's like sheltering that much of a responsibility, but at the same time, the fear of knowing that the man who is kind of responsible, not responsible, intentionally, but he's sort of like the cause of everything that's happening and all these Jedi being hunted at the moment, because again, the agenda is him. Now he's being hunted, and it's sort of like wherever he is, trouble is soon to follow. How did you feel about this sequence?
Well, I think it's interesting that Ben is being blamed, by everyone for everything.
Yeah.
He has no escape out of this because he was such a prominent character, and he even refers to him as, he calls him General Kenobi, right?
Yeah.
In the scene. So, even though it's been 10 years since I'm sure anyone's called him that, here this man is calling him that out of respect, but he's also very aware that if General Kenobi shows up, there's going to be fighting, and he's not up for it anymore. He's lost his wife, his loved one, to this, and he doesn't want to go through this again. And although he is resistant, although he's not kind of giving into the Empire, I guess he's using whatever ability he has left to kind of stay underground. And now he can't be underground anymore because he's pretty much, like in the center of a bullseye with Ben there and this entire incident that's happening. I can understand his concerns. And I think he realizes that that something's going to happen to this outpost. That they're not entirely safe, and that he's going to have to figure out how he's going to get out of there rather quickly, along with everybody else in this network that I guess maybe they're trying to build. I don't know what's in place now, but it must be incredibly hard for someone like him who managed to survive while his spouse, I guess, did not survive. How did he manage to make it out and she didn't? That's something that I'm a little curious about. Perhaps he has some special abilities or something else that we don't know about. But that was the first thing that I thought was that, gee, if it's your spouse is force sensitive, they're going to know you were hiding her. How come you're free? So that's the thing that I primarily thought about. Not necessarily that Ben was there, but the idea of how did he make it out? And, he must have some special ability or something so that he wasn't caught. So it's an unanswered question, and I'm really curious as to what the answer is.
Yeah, definitely. So there was, again, a lot to say about, and then on top of that, his reluctance to really help until it's sort of like he played out the scenario in his head about what happened to his wife. It is sort of like he had to come to grips like, do I want to see this happen again? And if this is any chance to kind of help another, and to kind of end this, then he wanted to kind of get in the fray and say, okay, I'm ready to go. Of course, Tala, who is who's been by Obi-Wan's side since they had kind of encountered each other. She's basically there 100%. So we see that there's agreements. Yes, I'll get you there. I will get you to transport. So I definitely love that scene. El Professor Otto, man, what did you feel about O'Shea's his performance in this scene, man, and his connection, and where his character, how his character evolves throughout the episode?
Tell you, man, every time I see O'Shea Jackson Jr., I just see his dad.
Yeah,
he's like a spitting image of his father. He's even got his mannerisms down. It's crazy.
Yeah.
When we first see Roken, I can sympathize with him. Yeah, his loved one, like mentioned that she was force sensitive, and the Inquisitors actually caught up to her.
Yeah.
But to me, the writing in the scene, as far as like his sudden change of heart, I get it. Yeah. But it was just so. It was so like there was like nothing to it.
Yeah.
It's just Tala just saying,
it just like snapped all of a sudden. Yeah.
Right. Because at first he was just so reluctant, and then all of a sudden he's like, okay, I'll help you guys. It's like, I mean, be a little bit more persuasive in your argument. I guess, Tala. I mean, show a little bit more resistance. I mean, I can see maybe if they would have, if they would have. Now that's why. Okay, that's why I think this episode probably should have been a little bit longer, just so they can help develop some of the story a little bit more, because it seemed extremely rushed and there was like very little substance.
33 minutes,
in my opinion. Yeah, it was
only 33 minutes. Yeah.
Considering it's a 6-episode arc and we don't know whether or not we're going to get a season 2, is just like this particular episode felt rushed, and this is part of the scenes, in my opinion, where that could have been developed a little bit more. But they just went ahead and hurry up and got to the plotting. But as far as his character, it was cool to see him. I mean, you kind of see like a dawn of the rebellion in a sense, the very, very early workings of the entire thing. So it's just interesting to see his character and to hear his bit of a backstory. So I'm always happy to see new characters introduced and what's going on. So
yeah.
Again, O'Shea, man, all I just see is cute.
It's his pops.
Man.
But just like his pops, bro, he does have a bit of talent, bro. Like he does have that, man. So I did like his range there. Vinny, man, seeing O'Shea for the first time on camera, bro. What are your thoughts?
Fuck the Empire coming straight from the underground. Mario's right. He was like, man, there's no way I'm helping you. I can't risk it. Actually, you know what? Anything you need, I'm your man.
Yeah,
it was
right,
that fast.
Dude. Right?
It was about that fast.
On a dime. Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty quick turnaround. It was cool seeing him. I mean, it was that's about all I have to say about O'Shea. He didn't really have much to do here. Mario's right also in that it was definitely a rush sequence. They clearly had to get from point A to point B with the plot, and I felt like the beginning and middle of this episode was really strong, and they weren't exactly able to get out of their situation smoothly as they should have been able to due to time constraints. It's like breaking into the Inquisitor Fortress, which seen on screen, by the way, was absolutely incredible. I mean, it's reminiscent of like Sith temples and Inquisitors, and it just looked phenomenal. It was just so amazing seeing it. All that stuff was amazing. The back to tank scene was incredible. It reminded me of the end of Empire with Vader and Luke having a connection after their fight of like raw emotion. So it was like they were reaching out to each other in a different way, and through pain as opposed to through a father-son. So that scene was incredible, and they are just doing phenomenal work with Vivian Lyra Blair. I keep forgetting her name, but instead of just calling her Young Leia, like, she deserves a lot of recognition. Her interrogation scenes are just incredible, and there's been people like criticizing the writing with Reva and her, and why she would be interrogating a child as opposed to any of the other, like the pilot she could have interrogated instead of killed, or so on and so forth. Like, what would this kid know? But to me, I just chose to look past that and just focus on just how amazing she did.
How she is,
because it didn't seem like, oh, I'm a tough kid and blah blah blah. She seemed scared when she needed to portray fear. She seemed tough when she needed portray bravery. Like, she is showing just all kinds of range. She is acting her ass off. She's been incredible. She's putting on a clinic, and then Kenobi in this in the beginning of this episode is just amazing too. I mean, he looks I don't know, it's like without really saying much, he's showing that like he's hurt, he's also scared, and he's also pissed off, and he's also brave. Like, they're asking a lot of these actors with very little time for their actions and in the story to breathe, and in order to get what they have to get all their beats, in and out. So it's really tough job that they're asking of everyone here, and I think, like, for the most part, they're just absolutely kicking ass. Tala too. Tala's been amazing in this show.
Oh
She's been awesome.
She's such a brilliant actor. I've loved her ever since what was it, Luther? When she was in Luther, so I loved her ever since that. But yeah, she's doing such a great job. Really quick, we got a $4.99 super chat by Superhero Displays. What's up, my fellow Rebel scums? Y'all know Lil Leia's droid is named Lola, as that was the name of Carrie Fisher's pet bird when she was at the similar age. Yeah, that's a great homage, man. I love that.
Great throwback.
It's a definitely great throwback. Yeah,
love the attention to detail there, man.
Definitely, man. And then we got another super chat, $1.79 super chat. I think Tala has the hots for Obi-Wan. Who knows? Like, I think it's crazy because I think, like, even in this scene here, we see Obi-Wan on Tala's ship as they are actually headed to the Inquisitor stronghold, and he's practicing. You know what I mean? It's sort of like he's trying. It's like you could tell, like, it's slowly coming back to him. He's starting to feel the Force again. Tala lets him know that, it's not just his, that, he's healing not just physically, but also mentally, and getting reconnected back to the Force. Like, it's still trying to do that. He says he's going to be all right. And just, the conversation that they actually have back and forth while they're headed there, you can tell that, even in that conversation, that him and that Obi-Wan is still slightly unsure of himself, but Tala still believes in him. So I thought, basically that was an incredible sequence. Doesn't
everyone who has a pulse have a crush on Obi-Wan, or is that
I love Obi-Wan.
Okay, good. I knew I was
him.
Okay, awesome.
We're together on that, CC. We can love
you both
him
have
together.
like beating hearts and a pulse, and like, okay, just making sure.
Yo. Yeah, I mean, hey, everybody loves Obi-Wan, man. Like, I mean, he's doing such a big up job as a character, but it just the thing is, it shows. It's like when you see this in these sequences, is you can tell, like, Obi-Wan has been through so much. Like, he's carrying the weight, literally the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders when he's dealing with, the loss, also, things that, he's been thrusted back into the fray, like he's been trying to hide, but now, he's trusted to find Leia, who, he tried to stay away from, but once he's been around her, it's just like that connection's there. And the crazy part about it is, I'm watching these episodes and I damn near almost forgot about Luke. Like, literally forgot that Luke is still on Tatooine, because, again, we've seen this. And I guess that we're supposed to not really think about Luke because there's no real interaction between him and Obi-Wan. It's not supposed to be. You know what I mean? But, it's just like I see that chemistry between Leia and Obi-Wan, but it just begs, it's like, for me, it's just like trying to figure out, like, that's a strong bond that they've created. Like, they're creating such a strong bond. How does that translate, in a sense, to the Leia we know now? You know what I mean? And when they meet in New Hope, I mean, not meet in New Hope, but when the conversation stirs in New Hope. And again, it can be equated so many different ways. I mean, she's grown. She probably hasn't seen him for a while since. So I mean, us as children, we remember certain people in our past, but as we grow, we forget. Like we don't forget them. That it's still, the presence is still there, but there's a lot of things that we do forget. You know what I mean? So hopefully that's explained. Cece, I know you want to say something. Go right ahead.
Thank you. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because obviously that's been at the forefront of people's minds where it's like, can you really enjoy this if you cannot get over the continuity errors, really?
Yeah.
And I think it's more difficult to explain the hologram message where it's
Yeah.
very formal, where it's like, you served my father during the Clone Wars kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when she is rescued from the cell, and I think it was Luke who said, like, oh, Ben Kenobi's here to rescue you. She goes, Ben, and like it's almost like in a form of recognition, maybe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think, and then the same with Vader. So like that first scene with Vader in the hallway where she's like, I don't know verbatim, but like, I knew that was your foul stench that I smelled as soon as he came on board. Well, how would she know if he stunk like beef jerky unless they'd met before?
Yeah.
I think she was talking about Tarkin, actually.
Well, then what was the line? Sorry, then what was the, you know what I'm talking about, where they meet in the hallway? She says something about like, I should have known it was you, Vader, who would.
Yeah, I suspected you holding Vader's leash, and I recognized the foul stench.
Yeah.
Maybe it was
Yeah.
about Vader, but I thought it was about Tarkin. To be honest.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think the
I thought it
smell
was
thing was
Tarkin,
Tarkin,
yeah.
but
Yeah. It
what-
was
Yeah.
talking.
my brain is mush. I'm sorry. The closer to
all good.
Friday, like the weekend it gets, the more my
Yeah.
brain.
Mm-hmm.
But it was definitely when she was like, she had the stormtroopers behind her, and he
Yeah.
found her in the hallway,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and she said like, I should have known it was you, or something like that, which kind of implied that they had met before at least once.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was later, because if you remember in in Rebels, we see her again as more of a, like, I guess somewhat of an Imperial diplomat or something like that. So she's known within the Empire after that. It's just that no one knows that she's actually, a rebel spy in a sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why she still has those inner workings, with the
I
Empire.
think unfortunately the most blaring so far kind of loophole that's caused more than all the ones that most people are talking about is one that Trexler brings up is when Ben dies. It's like she's consoling Luke.
Yeah.
And he knew Ben for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's
And, like,
that's exactly what Trexler Historical Art said. When Ben died in New Hope, Leia didn't mourn Luke. It's she didn't mourn, Luke did. So yeah, and that's the truth. Like,
Yeah.
that's
That scene was always hilarious too, because like literally her entire planet just got blown up, and Luke was like way more sad about this old man that he's only known for like that day, and she's like, oh, it's okay, I've been there. She's like, meanwhile, everything she ever known just got blown up, and she's like, keep marching on. You got shit to do.
Do you think that maybe, but even her as a young child, I mean, because the thing is, Leia's been battle hardened, as we see, since a child, since she's been young. She's been, thrusted into this world. She's had to witness and see so much that it's brought her to that point that, as she aged, and again, following, like, there's an interesting comic about Leia and the things that she's actually seen and the adventures that she's basically been on. She is sort of hardened in a sense. So her understanding that death is just a passage at that point, and that you can't, like, in her position, she can't mourn because there's so much that she has to, kind of figure out, and she has to be the strong one amongst the bunch, which she, definitely does display. But even this, at this age, this girl is pulling those beats off. Like, she gives you the right amount of emotion, but then she just sobers up and is like, yeah, no, I'm not telling you a thing. You know what I mean? So it's such great acting. But I think it's mainly the transition is because of the weight that she's had to bear for so many years, that she is hardened. And she realizes that in her position, hell, she did just lose her people, but now she knows what the role she has to play now, because she represents her people. She represents everyone on Alderaan. So now this is where she's at right now. She's like, okay, now I have to put my big girl shoes on and I have to react. So that's what I think.
And yeah, and Kenobi might still mind wipe her, so we'll see.
To CC's point, I also too didn't really like get the impression that they've never met before. Because when you hear in her messages, I mean, yeah, she in the direct hologram message, she says that years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars, so she's kind of like just skipping like a direct greeting to her, like, oh hey, I need your help, and without even mentioning her father.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the same point what Cece said when Luke mentioned that, hey, I'm here with Ben Kenobi, and the way she reacted is as if she already knew him as well. So that always led me to believe that they've somehow met. So the idea where they haven't, I'm just kind of confused by that. I was just wondering if any of y'all like kind of felt the same way as far as like, do you guys think they had never met, or do you think it's possible?
To be honest, I'm really trying to watch this without thinking of how much it fucks up the OG trilogy, because it's kind of like watching Rogue One, looking for ways that messed up the original trilogy too, and it's kind of like, even if they do, as long as they don't do anything that's like super blaringly different, like I'm mostly okay with it, because there's ways that you can manipulate and just overlook stuff, and there's so many ways that they mess stuff up after the fact with the story, that if they incidentally butterfly effect some stuff, then like it is what it is. I'm trying to enjoy the highs of the show, because the lows of the show are inconsequential at worst. I feel like there's nitpicking stuff that I feel like when I think about, like that doesn't quite jive, but the stuff that's amazing, like I feel like it overshadows that stuff so much, and I can't imagine how you really can do this without at least there being a few things that are at least kind of a gray area as far as making sense going forward. It's tough. I mean, I'm sure that they have, that's a hurdle trying to write this without it affecting really episode 4, changing anything. So there's so much good to take from this, that the little stuff that, like their interaction. I mean, plus she is really young. I mean, there are people I've met as an adult that I was around as a kid that I don't remember as well as I should, even if they were family friends that I've seen a lot. And I get it. This is a traumatic experience, but sometimes the mind heals and makes you forget traumatic experiences. I mean, we all have shit that we probably have made ourselves forget. So that's kind of what I notched it up to too.
Yeah. I mean, just like, we compartmentalize mentally certain things, you know what I mean, that have actually happened through our lives, even like traumatic moments that we kind of compartmentalize and push in the back of our minds because we don't want to remember them. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure, like, there were some traumatic moments, even her as a young girl. Again, it's like, I think it's for us, and what you're saying that I completely piggyback off of, and I think you're right. It's like, what you guys have been saying is that we say that there's continuity issues and that, there's certain missing, like, well, how can this happen in this, but yet, they're not addressing those things, or you just completely retcon that. How do we know? You know what I mean? There's certain things that could have happened in between. It's like the way we live our lives. You know what I mean? Like, can we, somebody it's just like, being in a relationship. Somebody sees you with a new girl, but then they always say like, yo, but I thought you were with this particular person. That's not right. How is it not right? It's just that you didn't see it. You didn't see what happened before, you saw me now, like the moments where there might've been issues. There might've been, conversations that might've been had, but you just didn't see it. So I think that's a lot that goes on with, this show. And I think that certain things will get addressed. But I think, again, we just got to kind of wait. And that's why I reserve a lot of it until I basically see the last 2 episodes and how it's played out. But getting back on this one, we see the interrogation again between Reva and Leia, and Reva's trying to get more information from her about the safe house, the safe place, the safe homes of the Jedi. She does basically have a piece of the stronghold. The actually piece of the wall that she took from the last location, and she's trying to interrogate Leia to tell her where the places are. And she thinks that she knows where they're hidden, and she's trying to get as much information from her as possible. What did you basically think about her and Reva's interaction in this particular scene, and just how, in a sense, like it's what's so good about it is that she thinks it's like, just imagine you being an adult and you're having a conversation with a child who knows how to play you. Like, they know how to play you, and they aggravate you so much because they're not giving you the answers that you want. And the frustration was there with Reva, and I'm looking at Leia like, well played, like, well played. What did you think about this scene?
Well, I think this might be the first Force sensitive child that we've seen who's in a live action series and has a major role. She's
Yeah.
supposed to be, or at least exhibiting signs that she's resistant to the powers of persuasion. And at least for me, it's not that I don't feel like the Inquisitor is trying. The Inquisitor is very careful not to go too far because, as it's later revealed in the episode, she has an alternative plan. So, she's kind of buying time and doesn't really want to hurt Leia, but she could probably kill Leia if she wanted to. So, there is that element there. She needs Leia alive so that she can be rescued. And, I think that she already knows everything she needs to know about the questions that she's asking Leia. So this is just something that she's using to buy time. Leia is unaware that Reva is doing this. She is just purely an innocent child here. And she is confident that someone's going to rescue her, even though she's being told that no one is coming for her.
Yeah.
She's not going to get despondent. She's just, fine with everything that's happening. I almost wondered, and so, like, in the sense of Reva being, a terrifying character, or, after all, she's a dark force user now and should be very, very scary. She is holding back quite a bit. I do like that they used the little, I'm pretty sure Grogu had some like that, but the ones that Grogu had inhibited the force. So they do have small little handcuffs of all different shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
There's a factory somewhere in the galaxy that manufactures 500 different size cuffs for the Empire. So everybody can get cuffed and, they're totally fine with it. I think that she also was not expecting Leia to be maybe as snarky as she was, but it almost doesn't matter. Reva has to be wondering, why is it taking so long for for Ben to come and pick her up? She needs to make sure that part of the plan goes through, and it does. But unfortunately for Reva, she just has to bide her time and ask these questions just as a routine to get by until the rescue.
Yeah, definitely. I think she plays it so well. It's I guess it's just weird that Reva, and I guess that's not part, but it's weird that she doesn't sense the force in her. You know what I mean? Yes, that she doesn't sense that she's force sensitive right now, and I guess she's not supposed to. But that's interesting.
I don't
Because
know. I don't know whether she does or doesn't. I can't really tell. Reva's not easy to read.
yeah,
So, if anything, she has that ability to kind of, really block her
yeah,
emotions. I can't tell what Reva is thinking. And that's very different from almost all the characters in the show where we know exactly what they're thinking. But Reva, she kind of blocks a lot of that emotional vulnerability for a
yeah,
number of reasons. She's purposefully not letting anyone know that she has specific emotions to go one way or another. And so that might also be something that's offsetting Leia. Leia is
yeah,
probably like, why can't I just read her, or say something to her? And she can't, because
yeah.
Reva is probably using force stealth to kind of block
Mhm.
her personal, feelings in this.
Yeah,
But you make a good point, Lael. Why doesn't she know Leia is force sensitive? I mean, shouldn't
yeah.
she know? This is a question we're all asking, and I'm curious too.
Or does she know, and maybe she's hiding her own agenda? Like she knows, but there's this something that she's hiding because, that she doesn't want to reveal because she's trying to find or get more information. Could be, just like when she basically reveals this wood carving with the Jedi emblem insignia on it. She again knows, or she's trying to, as almost as if she's saying, maybe you are force sensitive and maybe you know about this, maybe you're a youngling, maybe, who knows, you know what I mean? So she's just trying to get as much information as possible from her. It's who knows at this point. But I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where this evolution goes and what the agenda is in the end. But next up, we actually see Tala and Obi-Wan, arrive on the actual Inquisitor stronghold. Very intense, and I have to admit, like these scenes were extremely intense between Tala being a commanding officer and her rank. And it was good, CC, to see that she asserted herself so well. And she didn't let up. Like she asserted herself, let him know what her rank was, and as she's over him, she's ranking him. For him to question her is like, yeah, what are you doing, bro? You know what I mean? So I did love this scene very much. But the only thing is, it's like I'm thinking, like, if you know that this isn't this person's post and it's not, they don't really belong there, as an officer, wouldn't you kind of alert, even though you let her pass, wouldn't you kind of be skeptical and just like, you know what, this is my job, I gotta let somebody know something's going on? You know what I mean? What you think?
Well, I mean, so like there's this oh my gosh, I forget the guy's name who did the video, but he does this video about a scene we see Thrawn in, because everyone knows Thrawn's my guy, and repeatedly says, like, we know Imperials are dumb. Imperials, they're dumb. They're very dumb. And like Thrawn was like one of the few exceptions that we had seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, he kind of, isn't dumb as a box of rocks. Well,
Yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me if he's like blinded by rank. And also, if anyone's ever seen the videos of like the guys who managed to get into like movie theaters and museums and shit just by like wearing high visibility vests and carrying a ladder,
Yeah.
like if that happens on a regular basis, then I absolutely believe this. She's walking the walk, she's talking the talk.
Yeah.
He's probably thinking, I'm not questioning whether or not she's supposed to be here or what business she has here. That is above my pay grade. I dare not, that paramilitary structure, or in this case military structure, I dare not ask any more questions that I already have and offend her, because if I say too much shit, next I know I'm going to be sent to Hoth in 2.5 seconds and my career is donezo. So I know, like, I think there's easy things to pinpoint where you're like, well, some stormtroopers seem smarter than others, and the other ones are like really, really dense. I think it's kind of easy to explain these things away when you think of like human error. These are people. So even if we're in those shoes, would be like, this is sus, I'd probably call it in. I'd probably ask more questions.
Yeah. That's definitely true. Philip the Fool does bring up a very interesting point here. He said Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon didn't know Anakin was force sensitive when they met him. When they meet him, I don't think you can pick up on it unless that person is actually already aware of and actively using the force. That's that's a point. I mean, but we know that in a sense, Anakin was sort of like unknowingly willing or using it, because as Qui-Gon explained, is that you can see things before it happens. You know what I mean? So I think that direct connection to Anakin is when he felt him through the force and he knew that his reflexes and what he, that's why he questioned him. So I think Qui-Gon felt it, like he felt it, and he started questioning him, about his reflexes. He said, you have fast reflexes, stuff like that. It's just that he wasn't sure of how strong in the force that he was. You know what I mean? So it was just like, okay, let's again, more examination, more questioning and stuff like that. So again, maybe Reva knows, but she feels something, but just doesn't know how strong on the force that she is. Because again, we have a lot of force users who aren't directly identified as Jedi or aren't even picked up by the Jedi. Because of the simple fact that they're just force users. Sometimes they'll bypass some because there are certain questions that they ask, certain things that they have to know, and they're intuitive that way. So I don't know.
They're too old.
Or they're too old. Exactly.
I kind of got the impression, like I said, like human error, that I think Reva is trying so hard to get Kenobi and has this hatred for Kenobi that she's missing the obvious. It's almost like when you hate when someone walks up to you and is like, hey, you said like something was in the pantry, it's not there. And you're like, I'm going to walk over there and I'm going to look at that pantry and I'm going to see exactly what you're looking for. It's going to be right in front of your face. Listen, I'm starving. I'm not thinking straight. I didn't see it. Anyone has had these kind of conversations. So that interrogation scene, I took it that even though she seems calm, I think she's just not thinking like, she's thinking this child is going to be what gets me Kenobi and what gets me to be Grand Inquisitor. Not what's Kenobi's connection with this child besides, she's just Bail Organa's kid. I don't have to. Why would she be force sensitive? We would know about that if she's a senator's daughter. I'm assuming they have like files on everyone and would already know, but they've sheltered her. So rather than kind of thinking, she's just tunnel vision. I need to find Kenobi. I need to find the rebels.
Like she's focused on, she's mainly focused on that. Do you think that also she's blinded in a sense by her rage, in a sense, like she's so enraged, so driven by emotions that she's overlooking, like, because we know that Reva is slightly reckless, in so many different ways. She's doing the things, like she's doing what she thinks is right, but at the expense of really causing major damage. You know what I mean? So again, she could be blinded by that sense of just wanting to achieve her connection, or I just need Obi-Wan. That's where I'm at. I need Obi-Wan.
I'm mad she didn't say you are part of the Rebel Alliance and the traitor. Take her away.
yo, that's crazy. Mario, this scene right here, this was the dopest scene. When Reva is, trying to extract the information from her forcefully, pun intended. But she just looks at her and said, "What is this, a staring contest?"
Yeah, we're having a staring contest.
We having a staring contest. But what was remarkable is when Reva, she pretty much gave up, and released. How we saw her, the little girl just go. Like, and she just showed the emotion, like she was fighting everything that she could. It was just so remarkable, man. This girl is so cute. Like, she's
amazing, dude.
She's so amazing, bro. I love this little girl. She is so adorable, bro. Like you like Grogu. I love her, man. She's so cute. Like Baby Leia, bro.
What if she just fell asleep afterwards and just was?
She just went to sleep, man. Like straight up. We need a 1/6 scale version of this character, man.
Oh, yes,
absolutely. We have to get. I need one. I'm
still waiting for my Omega figure, but I'll take this Leia figure.
Are there any 1/6 scale child figures?
No, just a child. Grogu.
Actually, no. They made a baby Luke as an infant.
Yeah, they made a baby Luke wrapped up.
With Obi-Wan.
Came with Obi-Wan, yeah. But that was mainly it. But other than that, yeah. I don't know, but I just Mario, I love this scene so much, man. And just like it's the banter back, but there was a lot of focus on her and Reva throughout this entire episode. Like that's pretty much made up the entire episode. Was her. The focus was on her and Reva, just back and forth while Obi-Wan was trying to infiltrate.
The thing is, I don't understand is why would Reva? Okay, so I guess that just because she caught her running down one of those halls in the safe house, why would she think that Leia would know where more of them are at? Throughout other systems. I kind of find that like, that kind of flew past my head a little bit. I just don't understand that mentality. But yeah, we see her here, man, and she's like, she's trying to. I think this is one of those instances where we're all talking about whether or not Leia's actually actively using the Force, but there were Obi-Wan actually told Luke one time that like you can feel the Force flow through you, and then Luke mentions like if it controls your actions, and he says partially.
Yeah.
So I kind of wonder if that's kind of what happened here. Is just that the Force kind of just kicked in like with her
Yeah.
unknowingly,
Yeah.
or like
as
you
a
guys
defense
alluded to
mechanism,
earlier.
the Force just kind of kicks
exactly.
in. Yeah.
But didn't Leia as an adult also resist the what was that thing, Mario?
That
The
probe droid.
The
and then remember
the interrogator droid.
Yeah. Yeah.
and Vader had said, well, she's resistant to it, and we
the
never
mind
got an
probe,
explanation necessarily as to. I'm not saying we never.
Yeah.
Let's just say initially we didn't get an explanation as to why
Mhm.
she was resistant to it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they couldn't extract any information from. Yeah, definitely. I mean, so this could just be one of those instances that we see. You're totally right. I forgot about that too. And again, I'm wondering if it's a defense mechanism because we see. I guess we see little points like that throughout the OT. I mean,
Yeah.
we saw it again in Empire when she reaches out for Luke while he's hanging off of the Wellman investment.
And the other thing too, and I'm sorry to cut you guys off. People who are prepared for interrogation, they have to learn how to resist interrogation. I don't know whether it's completely 100% reliable, but I've seen where they train individuals to do that. I mean, I don't know if that exists in let's say in the Star Wars universe, but I have seen people trained to do that, and they won't divulge the information. I don't know.
Yeah. Like trained to have,
And
but again, like for instance, we know that there are certain species that are very resistant to the Force. You know what I mean? That again, Tridarians definitely they only did your trick
mind
don't
tricks
work
don't
on
work
me.
on me.
Only money. Yeah, mind tricks don't work on me. Only money. Yeah, that's so.
Somebody clip that, please. Somebody clip that.
This is the
yeah.
My fault. Go ahead. Yeah, this is the second time. This is the second time that she kind of has used the Force inadvertently in a like kind of autopilot way in canon like this, and then of course the floating through space scene, like which they foreshadowed in the last episode with "I want to float," and like eventually later on she does out in space, but
Why did you have to make that callback? Thanks, Vinny.
You're welcome.
Mary Poppins, y'all.
Very Poppins, y'all. But again, in this particular scene, we see that Reva, and I'm guessing at this time her feeling that that droid was present. She force grabs the droid, Lola.
Yeah.
And just lets her know that she had a droid at one point. Which was interesting. Like she had her own droid. So we see that there are remnants like things about Reva's past that she's still connected to, that she still holds on to. And I think that again, as a Sith, those things that they actually hold, or a Sith in training herself, those things that they hold on to, especially in the past that fuels the rage, they use it. You know what I mean? This is what they use. Sith have always been taught to use those particular things because they are well connected to the emotions of loss and anything that would kind of, incite that rage. So again, and I'm guessing at this particular point, and it's, the devices that actually see her with the droid. So we know that when it is mentioned later on that there was, a tracker, this is where it was actually set, or one of the moments where it was set, off camera.
That's where Vader gets the idea in an OT to put it on the Falcon.
To put it on the Falcon and stuff like that. We basically see that, Obi-Wan is now, now mind you, it's crazy because he's communicating back and forth with Talia. Now, the thing is, it was this scene right here. Now I have
gotta get comms, man. Gotta get comms.
Oh, you can even rewind back a little bit. I mean, there's more than just that one scene. But no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So let's go here.
Right there. Right
Yeah.
there, man, is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like he watches her on the comms, bro, but says nothing. I guess dude was like, I want no parts. I want no
He just
parts.
gets
I
bitchy.
didn't see
It's like,
nothing.
"Bitch, do you know we can hear you?"
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was like, yo, you talking loud?
Exactly.
He was like, you talking so loud. He's like, I want no parts. No parts. I'm just
Oh
here
my
to do my
God.
He's over
job
there
and get
playing
paid.
solitaire,
He's-
minding his business.
Yo, he is. He's like, yo, I'm trying to get paid. It's Friday
Yeah.
night. Like,
Playing
yo, if
Galaga.
you get caught, that's
Playing
on you.
Galaga. Exactly.
Yeah, he's
Playing
playing Galaga. But you know, even this particular scene, because okay, so if I play this scene out, like just that, you know, particular scene when Obi-Wan is actually strolling through the hallway after dispensing of a trooper and throwing him in water, how quickly that trooper drowned in that shallow end of water was crazy. But yeah, so we see,
Yeah, I
you
think you
know,
passed it.
did I pass it?
A little bit,
A little bit. Do we need? I think
Right
it's
there,
here.
right around there.
Having recently put a bucket on my head,
Yeah.
I could probably like pour a glass of water in that thing and have some issues.
Yeah.
It's already difficult to
True.
breathe in anyway. I'm not saying that that's why that's like such a realistic scene. I said the same
Yeah.
thing about, spoiler alert, the hallway scene when the whole hallway gets flooded and suddenly we're seeing them like floating. I'm like, these assholes don't know how to swim at least.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, without the rebreather, they would die. But anyway, they didn't even attempt.
I'll have another question for you later on in terms of wearing a helmet to see
Okay.
if you can actually, confirm something for me.
Okay.
He's still new in the pool, CC.
So we see Obi-Wan, you know, down the hallway dodging a probe droid again. You know, and these are different makes from the version that we actually see. Like we saw, you know, we see so many different versions. I wonder if we would actually get a version like this in figure form, because I think it was pretty cool.
It's a good thing they don't have infrared.
Right. So we see that we see that, you know, basically Tala's off comms for a minute as she dispenses of one and leaves him in the room. Right, he's in the same damn room, and dude is like, yo, I ain't see shit.
Again, there's not just that one dude, but there were like two other officers behind her as well.
This is like, yo,
no one's paying attention to anything about what's going on in that damn room.
We were joking, like, what if one of those guys gets up and is like, hey, I'm gonna make something out of the Keurig. Do you want a hazelnut macchiato? Oh my god, there's a dead guy over here. Who killed the guy with Keurig? Why is there a dead guy in the room?
Is that Todd? Oh my god, y'all, Todd.
Todd deserves better than the guy
Yo.
with fucking Keurig.
That's just Todd sleeps on the job sometimes.
Yeah.
Yo, somebody probably walked in and was like, yo, Todd, you sleep?
Todd,
oh man, you know what? You that tired, bro. You need some coffee, don't you?
Classic Todd.
Classic Todd.
Todd's taking a nap back here.
Yo, but like literally she dispenses and goes right back and sits down. I'm like, so nobody's gonna walk through the door and see that body and just wonder how it got there. But I guess it serves the plot at that point. Oh, Mario, I know that it disgusts you.
No, Leo. Come on, dude.
I know it disgusts you a little bit. See, I mean, your feelings. Go ahead. It's you have the floor.
Well, you know, I guess it's honestly it's writing 101. And we can't discount that there were a few things that could have been wrapped up a certain way, or things that we didn't even necessarily have to see. So that could have eliminated quite a bit of it. You know, he could have walked away from the console and then she could have spoken. You know, little things like that. So we wouldn't have to be faced with the dilemma of, well, gee, you know, that's an awfully big body in the front doorway. You know, so all those things don't have to even come up in discussion. In regards to the stormtroopers, I think a distraction would have worked better than throwing them in the pit water situation. Or, you know, maybe even knocking them out or doing a what is it called, a stun, you know, on them or something like that. So then there wouldn't be that, you know, curiosity. And then of course, you know, there's a little bit more that elaborates on it, because you end up with this hallway scene, which I'm assuming you're going to go to next, Lael. And you know, there's a lot of questions about how things are treated here. But if we are, on board with the idea that they are being let go on purpose, and also that they were meant to find out that it's a tomb, I'm wondering, why is this place a place to store bodies? Maybe it's because they're trying to harvest midichlorians. Like, what are they doing with these bodies there? And while it is a tomb, clearly, I feel like there might be some foreshadowing here. Clearly, it's not going to be Leia or Obi, but there might be someone else that they recognize in there at some point. I think that would have been very shocking to see some Jedi that they knew.
Some type of recognition. Like, I mean, that's the thing, is like in this tomb we've seen so much. Now, is the thing is just like, as I was looking, I'm like, yo, is this a tomb or is this some type of stasis that they're actually in? I mean, maybe they're being harvested, you know what I mean? Or I don't know, but it did clearly look like this looks like he's dead. There's no qualms about it. It looks like there's a death here. But I mean, I just think that, we start seeing so many different things. Obi-Wan, coming to grips in terms, like we see Leia, of course, she's about to get interrogated, or, I guess I'd either that or terminated. I don't know, because Reva, again, her agenda, it's I'm not really sure, but we see here that there's more like that, that we're actually seeing down the corridor. He's seeing so many different bodies. He's running into and I guess we know that they're all Force sensitives. It's just that, again, some were Jedi, some weren't. I
heard theories say that one of them was actually on the council. There was a Jedi Master in there that was on the council, and apparently he didn't recognize one of them. I couldn't call out who it is specifically. But
the one looked like one of the little, like the younglings that we saw
right here.
That we saw in the beginning.
Yeah, we know where he came from.
Yeah.
Well,
and you know what? And he sort of looks like one of the younglings that Anakin slaughtered. Maybe he spared one and said, "I'm just going to keep you." But like,
what I thought it was interesting that they zoomed on this one, because my tinfoil hat theory is that they're trying to repair some of the nuances of Snoke and Rise of Skywalker with making these clones this whole time. So you're talking about with harvesting, and also why Grogu was kidnapped in Mando, for his blood for cloning purposes. But I think it would be really cool if we found out that this one in particular was captured because, and this might be Reva's hatred for Obi-Wan, is at Coruscant she was confronted by someone, be it Anakin or someone else, and was told well, do you want to die or join us? And she just kills this kid, and this is the one that she chose to bring back as a trophy or something. Or they're oh, we'll keep this one. So this one's the constant reminder of the first evil thing she ever did as a child.
Yeah, it's like a beast of no nation. All of a sudden you have to kill everyone to prove your worthiness, and you'd even have to kill your parents if you had to prove what you would be willing to do for the Empire. So you're right, CC3PO. I agree with you 100%. I think that's a good point, and we'll see little children and infants in these tombs, and it's very macabre and dark, whatever they're doing there. It's not the first time we've seen sort of this lab thing in some of these TV series that they've had. We saw one in The Mandalorian, this odd lab that was on a distant, somewhere on that planet. So there must be hundreds of thousands of these tombs throughout the galaxy. I guess maybe when they feel that there is some use for some of these Jedi remains, I guess, if you will.
It looks like they're in amber, so there might be a future Jedi park, and they'll just have they'll charge people. They'll charge people to go and see what the Jedi were like, and then they'll bring them to life, and then they'll escape the park, and then.
Dude, Vinny's with the price tonight, man.
No expense. Yeah.
Are there any Jedi in carbonite? Do they store some alive for particular reasons? And
then the first one will be good, but then there'll be 3, 4, 5 other movies that aren't so good.
Exactly.
Anyway, we see that Obi-Wan calls up Talia and said, after hearing Leia's scream for help, he calls up Talia and asks her, Tala, to for a distraction, which she causes one, later on, intentionally or actually revealing that she knows the location of the safe house, and where Obi-Wan is. Again, Reva is questioning whether or not she's lying. Is it just mainly a ploy? And like this face right here is like, yeah, you lying. I can tell you lying. Like she's basically questioning like whether or not she's lying, and that she's hiding something, or if this is mainly a distraction. She knows it is. I think my favorite scene was here, when the lights go out. You have the stormtroopers on each side, and on Obi-Wan is just coming up by. He's just sniping them, bro. Like he's just coming up by behind each of them, one out, bam. Like it. Like here's the thing,
dude. You see that?
But here's the thing, bro. If the lights go out and are you going to stand there? Like you're just going to stand there, look around in the same spot? I'm like,
he learned that from Vader.
Batman.
Yeah.
No, remember Rogue One?
Ahsoka from that era.
There's just darkness, and then you didn't even see Vader's chest box, and then all of a sudden, boom! Because Vader's got sass. He knew it would be a badass opening to killing all these people, and so I love this.
Yeah, this sequence was so good. I loved it. Obi-Wan sneaking up on the next one and just taking him out like it's nothing. But again, I think, and I liked, this part, the happiness in her face to see Obi-Wan relief, but also knowing that he's not dead. You know what I mean? And this, the bond and the connection that these two have, it's so good to watch. Like, I mean, if you're a father and you have a daughter, and knowing the joy that knowing that, nothing, has happened to you, and she's so excited, to see you there, and she trusts you, and she has faith that you're going to protect her, and he's just as happy. Like, I love that scene. I just loved it. The emotional beats between both of them was incredible. Again, we have more with, Obi-Wan trying to escape, back and forth between Talia. I mean, I keep saying Talia, Tala, and Reva. Reva, basically saying, look, we're going to find out. They were actually going to take her to interrogate her as well. Again, the alarm goes off after Obi-Wan has been spotted by a probe droid. And then, the magic somewhat happens.
Don't skip that part. Don't skip that part, man. I got a question for Cece about this part.
Which part?
All right, Cece. So when you put that helmet on, can someone slap you that hard on the side of the helmet, and we're just gonna like,
so
right here.
I just asked if you guys had played this when I walked away, because someone needs
right there.
Turn that into a
GIF.
So she did it, but then didn't Kenobi do it, where he like straight up bitch slapped a stormtrooper?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's like this.
How useless is that armor?
That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe it's like, well, look, if you get, all right, here's the thing. I know that, and I'll just say this, and this is, and me, playing football, like, actually I played football in high school and in junior high. I know that if that face mask hits your face, it hurts. So I know that if it actually, so it does hurt. And I know that with certain masks and helmets on, if it does rub against your face, it can hurt. But that slap wasn't hard enough. It was not hard enough at all.
But I think she had the armorer's hammer.
Yeah.
Sissy, don't do it.
No, I don't have. What am I going to find a volunteer to slap me while I'm wearing this? So
I don't know what you're going to do. Let's be careful.
Obviously, in Star Wars canon, these are like really thick, heavy duty. Obviously, they could not stop blaster bolts, but they're considered armor.
Yeah.
But some like free advertisement for the company that made this one. This one's incredibly light. It's not a Novos. It's not De Novo. The company is called RS Prop Masters.
Mm-hmm.
They're based in Manchester. This is the TIE Hero 2. And what's cool about theirs is all of their items that they make has lineage. So this faceplate is from a Hero Stormtrooper helmet. And the top of it, in case you haven't recognized like the Mohawk, is actually the same helmet that they used to make a X-wing helmet. So basically, they had a lineage.
Yeah, I see that.
It's a reuse. Yeah.
And put a stormtrooper face on top of it, and that's what became the tie, which is why this is
Yeah.
Look at that, dude. I can't unsee that now.
Yeah.
That's just why it's so
That's
large.
all it is.
But
That's why
they
Cece's
make
here.
them
She's here
all
to
with the
educate.
same materials that the
Oh, so
original.
now she's flexing.
So this
She
is
is flexing.
like ABS plastic. It's very thin. And it was vacuum formed over what they call a book, which is basically like a plaster mold. But the company is great. The helmets are a little pricey if you're used to a Novos and like how heavy they feel, and then you feel one
Yeah.
of these.
Yeah.
But I love everything they make. I have a few. I need more of their helmets. I have a few of them. But give them a shout because they, like I said, they have access to. They will buy lineage pieces from auctions, either production made pieces, in order to like give fans access to stuff like this. And
Yeah.
it doesn't. When you see something like this in person, and then you play the movie, this feels like the real deal because it looks the same. It's hand painted. It's with the same type of plastic. It's not shiny like motorcycle paint like
Mhm.
you'll see on a Novos.
Mhm.
But they're a really small operation, great group of guys. Rob and Simon are great guys. They're the ones who own the company.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to check out their stuff, it's RS Prop Masters. And they're based
They do
Okay.
amazing work.
in Manchester.
It is incredible.
Yeah, Cece, when they do a Vader helmet, give me a shout, please.
They
I really want one.
I'll talk to you about that. And this is I have this is the TIE Hero 2, so it's got the silver here, and then the decal, the like half moon decal, and then silver on like the jawline, if you could see that.
Yeah.
And then the other one I have is the TIE Hero 3, which is the one with the silver like teardrops on the sides, like down the eyes. So I'm gonna put so this is like one of Vader's wingmen from New Hope. The TIE 3 is his other wingman. So I'm gonna put Vader's helmet in between these two.
Oh.
So
So you've already confirmed something. All right.
yeah, I have
So
the Vader I have is a Novos though. But I do plan on upgrading mine so that it looks more authentic. But yeah, if you ever want to talk like Star Wars props, I'm no expert, but I know a few people who know.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
you know people that know people.
I learned vicariously through them. But yeah, I just felt the need to, because like I said, I got to hang out with Simon at Celebration. He's a wealth of knowledge. We're talking about like
That's
Planet of the
cool,
Apes
man.
props and Batman props and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So in the helmet, so my question is like with the actual helmet itself is contained. Now it's not as padded because we know that within those helmets, especially in the lore, it's like a lot of technology behind it, especially if you're a pilot. If you're a stormtrooper, it's not like, one of those things where they've actually seen, it's not like, when Tony Stark puts on his helmet, we can see everything that goes on inside the helmet. I'm guessing with the vocal communicator, the response, everything that they have in there, that it's weighted. So if you get smacked, but you have to get forcefully smacked for that to kind of knock you off your feet or just whatever. And he just got tapped. And I guess he just got caught off guard and just couldn't compose himself, in which he, kind of took down the other trooper and shot them both. So we're finding that Tala is very capable. She's basically an assassin when she needs to be. So, yeah, I'm guessing. He said, yeah. But in this scene, again, we see Obi-Wan in the hallway. He has actually taken out a probe droid and then the troopers. Like, literally, this is the time that I've actually felt, I'm like, yo, I think now we're going a bit too far with this trope, bro. Like, literally, it's going too far. Like, you were making it painfully obvious. And now it's just where it's become, you're just creating memes. And I think that's right now they do it with the purpose of just creating certain memes, bro. Like, look at all these shots. And not one, bro. He even turned his back. And not one.
I can't see anything. I can't see anything when I wear that. So I totally, I think that's been the running joke that, when you're wearing that helmet, it's probably...
You can't see.
I question now the padding.
You know what?
Yo,
slapped
That
off.
Yeah,
little
Luke said the
twirl-
same thing actually.
That
That he
little
couldn't
twirl
see
was like,
anything in
"All right,
there.
I'm
He
back
did say
to
that.
it
Mhm.
again."
Mhm.
Luke did
That's-
say,
it
"I
still
can
was
hardly
dope
see
move.
anything in this." So yeah, I get it.
All
I
right,
get
all
it.
right.
Okay, CC. Okay.
Damn it,
You-
CC.
Well, I mean, that's hey, the purpose
She's got
for
a
here is
point.
people to
Yeah.
make. She does. She has a great point. Is the
Yeah.
purpose is for us, to really understand these things, because I mean we're not wearing a helmet, so of course like we think that come on man, it's obvious, but again maybe you can't see, and again it's like you think that there would be some type of evolution, but why is it that the clones were more precise? You know what I mean? They were more strategic and precise.
They were clones.
Because they were trained
They were all
clones.
Django Fett.
These are all
These are
civilian
actual
recruited
clones.
civilians.
They were
That's a
all
good- that's a
Django
great
Fett.
point, though.
That's why.
I never thought of that, but it makes sense.
Mm.
Where they cloned Jango Fett for a reason.
Yeah,
He was
they were
damn
all
good.
Django Fett, and that is why that they didn't
Yeah.
continue that going, because that's a lot more expensive than.
But then they stopped the
recruiting just
clone
regular-ass
process and they
people.
started recruiting individuals, and they just
Exactly.
really recruited. But it's like they took the
They went
Empire
for
took the cheap way
they
out.
went for quantity over quality.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. I mean, if they would have taken all of us, recruited all of us, we would have been just as bad of a shot, if not maybe worse. You know
Maybe
what I mean?
worse,
Wearing those
yeah.
damn helmets. So
Definitely.
Yeah, I guess I can see that.
and
But this
but
was cool
also
too.
we
Seeing,
yeah. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say this is cool right here. Seeing Obi-Wan actually going.
Yeah,
Seeing his moves kind of come back to him at the
Yeah,
end.
that
He
twirl
pulls
was
up his
like, all right,
pose. He
I'm
does
back.
a sable twirl real quick.
yeah. That
He's
twirl
like,
was
all
like,
right.
yeah. I think
Yep.
I'm thinking I'm
feeling it.
back.
He
He
did
did
the
the
John
John
Wick.
Wick. You asked me if I'm back. Well, I think I'm
think I'm
back.
I'm thinking I'm back.
I'm thinking I'm back. Yeah, like straight up. So I like that. Again, Leia's watching in amazement. I just thought that was a very, cute, amazing scene. But it's like these troopers had zero chance at all. I liked, as they were going down the hallway. I liked the water scene. Where
there.
yeah.
Right, this particular shot right here, man, it's funny because there's this one trooper behind him, pretty much point blank. But what's funny, this guy doesn't even think, okay, I'm in the middle of the crossfire. Why am I standing here trying to take this dude out? Right?
Yeah.
So he swings his lightsaber and just like accidentally just deflects the blast onto the dude
Like
behind
that.
him. 'Cause if you
Like
see right
that.
there, and he looks back like, oh shit,
I got
that
him.
guy was behind me. Exactly, dude. So it's like, come on,
Yeah.
man.
It's like I got him, but then it's like
Yeah.
he's still, and then I love this scene where Leia just runs on the other side. Like that little girl is brilliant. Like she's so brilliant, intuitive. But yeah. Now I love. Now, did we get? So all right. Here's. I'll take this back just a little bit. I want to take it back slightly because with this that trooper that we saw, that's not a make of the actual trooper that we actually saw from Fallen Order,
Yeah,
if I'm right. That's not
Yeah,
right.
that's a purge trooper.
But
wasn't
it doesn't
Fallen Order.
look like the Purge troopers that we saw from the game.
I
It
think they
looks
had
slightly
different
modified.
classes. I think they
Yeah,
had different classes. So
and he
that
has
is
the
a purge
pauldron,
trooper.
so of course we know, he's more of command. And I love the gun, the way that the blaster actually sounded just like one of the Death Troopers.
Yeah.
It sounded exactly like that. So we already know we're going to get that trooper, bro. And I already know that Mario, you're going to get 1 or 2 or 3.
Or
We already
4 or
know.
5,
Or
yeah.
4 or
Yeah.
5,
It'll
6
be like
like
Sean's going to try to talk me into getting 10 of them. So
Yeah.
shout out to Sean, man. He couldn't make it tonight, but he said
Yeah.
the next time.
So this scene right here.
Yeah.
So I love this scene for a particular reason. It's because this scene was needed to see how much more Obi-Wan was connected to the Force, that he's starting to reconnect. He's starting to use his Force ability a bit more. So it's sort of like he's dusting off the cobwebs. He's making sure that number one, Leia's protected, but it's sort of like he's more in tune, more proficient, using his power as much as he can. And he's like reconnecting. And I think that, I love seeing that scene. That we're seeing Obi-Wan come into his own and being he's reconnecting to the Force itself. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that this is the sister scene to the part where Vader holds back the water in Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
So that scene where the glass breaks and they have to run and get away from Vader. It's the only thing that could save them, because of course Vader could hold back, an entire ocean's worth of water if needed, and he does, but that's what they needed to escape. And I almost feel like this is, the sister scene where he also uses water or some sort of force of nature, so to speak, to get the hell out of there. And even though they managed to get out, Tala makes it very clear that it's not going to hold. Like, it's going to collapse a good portion of perhaps that sector of the base. So I did like seeing that part. That was pretty cool. And he'd already swam in to get in, right? Like the way that he entered the base was through going through water, correct? So now he's he's still using the water as a force for him. So that's the first thing. I could not help but think about Jedi Fallen Order and how Vader pushed back the water, and now he's manipulating water too. So maybe we'll see them manipulate more elements, because we've seen fire, we've seen water. Maybe there are more elements on the list that we haven't really seen too many Force users use. This might be the first one in live action, to do something like this. So I'm not sure of that, but I'm sure someone out there knows. So so it's a good first in a live action sequence.
Yeah, definitely. I thought it was, again, amazing that, but here's the thing is, it's like, if I see, because I'm pretty sure if I'm those troopers on the other side of that door, I see that he's holding something back or something's happening. If I was that purge trooper, I'd be like, yeah, y'all go first. y'all go first. I just need to see. Y'all go first. Tala comes in, of course, she helps Leia. Again, but in here, don't we see that the purge trooper, I believe, we're going to see that purge trooper fire through the door.
Yeah. They open the door slightly and he starts firing.
And he starts firing and it hits nothing. Like, bro, like,
about
you
to
see
be
that?
Punch troopers.
Like, bro, like, well, no, he's reflecting. So we do see that he's reflecting. So I do like that he's force focused at that point. And then if you see that, but there's no shots, the closer you get, there's basically no shots at that point, which was crazy. But I love this sequence right here. He jumps out the door. He makes it fast, which let me stop it right here.
He's forced jumping out of there. So although it appears as if he's running like a regular person, he's not. So
that was okay. So that's all right. So I just need to go back real quick. Because this was what made me so angry about Phantom Menace. Okay. How fast did they basically run from the decal droids, bro? How did they? How fast from the droid decals? They ran fast from them, right? So we saw that sequence, right? They broke. Yet, when Maul was fighting Qui-Gon, you mean to tell me Obi-Wan couldn't? That's the only, and I'm guessing that they did it just for cinematics and because of the narrative, but he couldn't. There is no one that can explain to me, and you can't clean that up. You can't clean that up. There is no way he wasn't connected to the Force and couldn't just ran straight through. And you know what I mean? But I guess it was a purpose for it. That was my only gripe about it.
For the narrative, it's exactly as you said, man.
He was tired of Qui-Gon shit, man.
The narrative.
You got this, man.
Yeah. But here, so again, we're here. We see that, now they are, again, about to escape. She basically gives Obi-Wan a jacket and some clothes to put on, which like is so cute that Leia is under.
Oh my god! This was where it got a little clunky.
Where fantasy and reality are not jiving here.
Yeah, not at all.
It felt like the escape that you might do if it was you and your brother and you were both like children, and
it was like
they're walking right behind them, there.
It was like the three kids in the trench coat.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. I'm surprised that Obi-Wan didn't have Leia propped on his shoulders with her head popping out, man.
Yeah.
Put the head on her.
This definitely didn't make sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole base is on high alert because they know they're and no one can really look to suspect, say, hey man, this looks kind of iffy, but again, everyone's turning the other cheek. Everyone's like, okay, whatever. I'm focusing more over here, and I'm not even gonna look at, the oddity, what the hell's going on over here. It's just right.
Yep.
Bad. It was just horrible.
They did
this
it.
freaking episode, man.
See,
They mind their own business. That's all.
Okay.
That's right.
I'm sorry. I don't mean
Keep
to
your
divert.
eyes straight. This is a different kind of base. We don't.
I don't mean to get off topic here. He said Jedi rely on reserves in the Force. Maybe he thought he needed to focus all on his saber fighting before rejoining the duel with Maul. But still, like, that's just going to bug me. But I see what you're
force
saying.
Meter was like used elsewhere, and
He had to recharge.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't know. Maybe you're right, but still, no. Anyway. So basically this scene. Now, mind you, here's where it got clunky for me. They're trying to escape, and then Reva, which we're going to actually get in,
casually walking out. Look at that.
Casually walking, and then Reva comes in, and they're all looking at him, right? Purge troopers and all stormtroopers. Everybody actually stops, and no one fires, no one says anything. They're just standing there, right? So this is what we actually see, which mind you, those Purge troopers look dope as fuck. They do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going front. Mm-hmm. But just standing there, no one fires, no one does nothing, and then Obi-Wan just casually turns around, and then we see this. Bro, okay. I'm not, listen.
I mean, I love this episode, but that was really tough because how did they know that they wouldn't hit Kenobi and Leia and Tala and then for them not to scramble the TIE fighters? I mean, obviously there was a reason because they wanted them to escape, but you could have at least had the TIE fighters like act like you're chasing after them.
Yeah, definitely. And Single Songwriter brings up, he said, note, no other Imperial officer has a beard.
Yes, he's very scruffy, very kind of, not neat and groomed like the other officers.
Yeah, like no other has a beard, and he's walking with a beard.
It was the cloak of invisibility.
There you go.
Yo, like, I don't know, man. Like, again, it is a scene. Mind you, I guess it serves a narrative. Everything that we see here serves a narrative, but at the same time, I just think that at this point, it did get a tad bit. I would have much rather them escape on, one of the either a fighter, transport ship. It doesn't matter. I would rather them to do that, and kind of fight their way out, or them use it as a distraction than, as we basically see the speeders come in, and cause that sort of diversion. Maybe they can escape on another ship. Having that much time, it just didn't make sense to me. It didn't. So I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. What did you think, Cece?
I mean, I don't know anyone who thought that scene with Obi-Wan and the coat was a good idea without thinking of like is it a really tall person or is it 4 children shoulder to shoulder, like you said?
Yeah.
A human. And this is where, like, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, but it's almost like, okay, they let them get away.
Yeah.
Like, it seems more like fanfare, where it's like, if she really wanted to get them, she would have.
Yeah.
Leading to that, like, surprise closer to the end. But yeah, like the whole base is on lockdown. We don't know who this officer is. We're just gonna watch her walk past us with this like scruffy looking dude with an Imperial officer's cap and like a really ugly trench coat and like
scruffy looking
like that, because that makes sense. Like he's like a centaur underneath that thing. I don't know, like but I think it to me it felt like it didn't feel sincere or like or desperate. It didn't feel desperate. And I think I'm used to Reva seeming very like angry and desperate to get Kenobi, and in this it was kind of just like it felt like a cop out. Like she doesn't look distressed in this scene,
Yeah.
and I think it just goes back to the fact that she
Let them
felt like
escape.
she outsmarted them.
Yeah.
In the future movies, it's like she's hip to that now. They
Yeah.
let us escape. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then of course that escape,
It's the only reason for the ease of our escape.
Leads to Vader and his. So okay. So Vader wasn't there the entire time. Is that what we're led to believe? He wasn't there. That he
Couldn't have
just
He
couldn't
never
have
would
been.
have. He wouldn't have just been chilling.
None of that. He
go on.
wouldn't have been chilling. So he just basically arrives,
Yeah.
and again, you see basically the fifth brother, and the other Inquisitor, just standing there as the third sister is being held up, which is what he wants in anyway. He probably snitched and was like, "Yo, Vader, she fucked up again."
Yeah.
And again, Vader is, challenging her for her failure once again, about to kill her until she lets him know that she, has a tracker, and that it's on the ship. Like the use again, here's the thing. So we know that with other films, like all the other films, whether it's New Hope, Empire, Jedi, any film that we've actually seen Vader, he hasn't had a lot of screen time. It's been limited. So we're used to that. We're adjusted to that. We know that there's always limited screen time when it comes to Vader. He's not going to get a whole bunch. But I think that the focus in this particular episode was mainly on Reva and Leia, less on Obi-Wan. And I think I'm just trying to find, I guess they did that with purpose, but it's just like, we're not, I want to, you know what? I even myself, I was like, yo, I would have loved to see at least one episode where we see a flashback to Obi-Wan and Anakin having a conversation. I want to see that. If you got like, again, I'm hoping that there's a second season, because you can't just throw Hayden Christensen in there and we not see his face at all. You know what I mean? Like there has to be something, we need to see that. We need to see, those flashbacks, even with Obi-Wan, or even maybe Vader has a flashback to those times. You know what I mean? When he was who he was. But I would think it would be much more clouded with him, because he's gotten rid of the memory of him as Anakin, because he's fueled more by rage. Whereas Ben is the one that would actually have, those, or that connection. But I really would want to see that. What do you think about that, Mario?
I think that is a wasted opportunity that could have happened during the battle scene.
Yeah.
We did see Obi-Wan going through the emotions of what he recently went through. But at the same time, I think, I mentioned earlier when we were talking about Boba Fett during our discussions how I don't like flashbacks. But the one time, I guess we're all conditioned now to look forward to a flashback every time we see a back to tank now.
Yeah.
But in the one time where it actually makes sense,
yeah,
they just completely missed the opportunity to do so, in which I thought that they would have done that. I think it would have added a lot more emotional weight,
more layers.
For Obi-Wan to see what he's actually going through, instead of just the shock of what just recently happened. I mean, take it back a little further. And you're right. I mean, just to see, Hayden Christensen, we only saw him I guess once, or maybe half a time if you want to count him.
Yeah.
In the illusion that Obi-Wan had of him over off in the distance. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I just felt it's a wasted opportunity. Now, this particular scene here, again, I don't think we know Vader's impatient.
Yeah.
Right? But he has shown a couple times, I want to say towards Piet, where he didn't kill him. Yeah. Where he didn't kill him when he should have.
And Krennic.
And no, because he didn't really fail Vader directly.
I'm just saying that he doesn't always just automatically kill everyone that pisses him off.
Right. Yeah. He teased Krennic a little bit, but I mean, Krennic didn't work for him directly as as Reva is right here, to where, and he came out and just said, "I warned you, that if you had failed me, and he starts choking her, but then she says what she says, and instead of just snapping her neck, he's like, I've underestimated you, third sister. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude, really? That's not.
that's
I
not
dug it.
Vader.
Cece
I thought that
said.
was him. I thought that
Well,
was on far.
Cece said like the last week, right? This is one of the reasons why I don't want to see Disney continue to do like a dedicated series towards Vader because of something, like this, where I think they can completely write him out of his character, and that's what I'm afraid of personally.
So what's really interesting is obviously we're obsessed with Star Wars. So a few of the people I follow who do like reviews or recaps or Easter eggs or whatever have said that what they've seen so far in Kenobi is that the one thing everyone can agree on is that Disney has handled Vader incredibly well. So it's two like major reviewers, whatever, that I follow on YouTube, who have quite a big following. Both of them did their respective videos on how they think that one of the few things Disney has gotten right lately is their handling of Vader.
Mm.
So I'm trying my best not to lose hope that we're gonna not see a lot of Vader within the next 2 episodes, or if maybe it's very Kenobi heavy because this is a Kenobi series, and
It's
that
his
if they
show.
do, yeah, like we see like a flashback of them at the Clone Wars, or I'd love to see him as Vader visiting Padme's tomb, like something deep like that.
Hmm.
Or if
Yeah.
we do a second season, it's more from like the red lenses of, because he's got red lenses in this, the red lenses of Darth Vader. Like it's his point of view on his hunt for Kenobi, because we've already seen how Kenobi's handled the Inquisitors thus far. And they've done there's been other shows that have done that where they've switched it and like the perspective switches, but it's interesting to see it from a different. So we'll see what Vader's been doing in the meantime when he's not here choking Riva.
He's not Vadering.
When he's not Vadering, because I think it's painfully obvious that I think more Vader is always a good thing. That's it's never going to not be a good thing. But also it's I want to see more Kenobi, and I think either with Ewan McGregor teasing it at Celebration and like the rumors being that this might have a
Yeah.
second season, I think that these quote unquote filler episodes that we're getting, I hope it's because they went
We
in
are getting a season
knowing
2.
that
Yeah.
they had so much that they wanted to tell us in this Kenobi series that they had to string along for at least 2 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved it. The scene with him rushing in was, I don't know, that was scary as shit. I mean, Vader pissed off,
Yeah.
storming. You never see him move that fast before. So I'm loving seeing this like younger, more agile, mobile Vader who not
Aggressive,
only is going to slumber towards you and be menacing, he's also able to fucking run at you. It's just such a different take on him, and it adds just an entirely different. I mean, imagine like we've seen Michael Myers like slowly walk after someone for generations, but imagine if he just started fucking sprinting at you, how much it would throw you off, because you'd never seen nothing like that before. So I'm loving this more, agile and younger Vader. I think it's even more terrifying, and it's in a different way, and it's just
great.
incredible. And I don't think it's out of character for him to have stopped killing Riva because she had information, and and he might have just wanted to see what else he was capable of. He has shown restraint before in previous films, and I think that there's probably more to the other kills that we've seen on screen before, like Captain Nino and all those. Like they probably fucked up in scenes that we didn't see, and I was just like, that was it. And what we're seeing here is we're still seeing badass, ruthless Vader. I mean, he just snapped a child's neck the last episode. I don't think that this is really a Disney-fied Vader.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's not a dumb Imperial. Like I think he killed a lot of dumb Imperial officers, but he still sees. I'm not saying there's a lot of use for her, but he sees at least a little bit of use in Riva to keep her alive for just a little bit longer, if it means that he's got a chance at Kenobi. And we've seen this in the comics as well, where he's not he's not like a mindless killer. I think that's what makes him more interesting, because we know
Yeah.
Anakin is under there somewhere. So
Yeah.
he's a strategist. He's not just like
Guys,
a
the
Jason
stream died.
The what?
We're still live on StreamYard, but the stream is gone.
Why?
Why?
I think probably because we've been showing a little bit too much as far as playing
Oh,
a little bit too much.
probably.
So yeah,
Whoops.
we can keep going. We can keep going, man. And
Well, they
Oh,
just
man.
okay.
It probably did.
yeah, just play it. You just got to play like a few seconds here and there, and you know,
Yeah.
just don't
Yeah.
go too crazy with it. So
I hope I don't get flagged.
we'll see.
Let me see what it looks like on my end.
Yeah, I'm looking
Will
at
it
the stream.
still
It's gone.
will
And
it
you see
still
the
continue
chat.
recording and then just post later, or is it just a stream that killed?
I don't know.
Yeah, we can try it. I mean, we can try to upload it later. You have to
Yeah.
cut it. You're gonna edit out this conversation, but you can try to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it says
Probably
stream
try it.
suspended for policy violations.
Oh.
Copyright. So yeah.
Did you get an email?
Due to copyright, bad stream is interrupted. Streams are interrupted when copyright content.
But
on
we're
stream-
back on.
Are we?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Isn't that us?
Where?
The chat is
Oh,
still
the chat's
going.
saying we're
on.
back.
We're
so-
yeah, we're back
They
on.
said
We're back on. We're back.
We're
on.
back.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back. All right, so we're back.
See,
so
Disney
we're-
is for giving us Vader. It was like, all right,
okay.
maybe
So
I
we're back.
judged you too harshly.
Hello, everybody. We're back. So anyway, I'm going to cut
Hello
it
there.
there. So
On that
basically, yeah, it's Paul. So we're going to
Use your imagination for the rest of the.
Yeah. So
Kenobi.
anyway,
Uh-huh.
what we get with the rest of this, mainly we see that Obi-Wan and Leia have escaped. So they did basically escape. And we see that nice little tender moment between Leia and Obi-Wan where she basically grabs his hand. And he shows that same level of affection. Mind you, at this point he is allowed. So again, he shows that he does care for her. And there is a lot of emotional attachment between them, which again, my question is, if we see that, right, and we see that there is an attachment between both of them, or he has this attachment to her, even when he basically sees the video in New Hope, there is a bit of reserve. You know what I mean? Like there isn't that automatic connection to, okay, this is Leia, or maybe he's just being reserved for a particular reason, or he just as not as trusting as to, with anyone. He this is Luke. He knows this is Luke, but he doesn't know how much to tell him at that point, or how much he needs to know, because again, the years have gone by. He knows nothing really honestly about his father and who he really, really is. So he has to be reserved about what he says. So I guess me, when I'm talking myself through it right now, I kind of understand it.
Now, but think about it. Think of how much more sense it makes. It's kind of like, you know what?
Yeah.
All right, I'm like, he's playing it cool, but inside he's like, yo, this little motherfucker better learn the Force quick because we gotta save her. Like,
Yeah.
that's so. You better cram because it's almost like he's like, all right, look, your days of being innocent is over. We got to save your sister, and that's on everything. So that's crash course. Whether Owen had anything to say about it or not, Kenobi was not letting that slide. And he used that reverse psychology. It's like, you must do what you feel is right, of course, but he didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, he didn't have much of a choice. I think that, again, it's one of those things where he's only letting Luke know as much as he needs to know at this point. And I think that is because he doesn't want him to have an attachment to any type of emotion. And he has to be reserved, especially what he saw Anakin go through. You know what I mean? Losing his mom, losing Padme, watching or knowing that, someone who he looked at that point as a father figure, it's again one of those things where he has to kind of be reserved and let Luke discover things in his own, and then in his own time, and then question him. Whereas Yoda didn't give two fucks. He told him everything. So, or almost everything. So again, Yeah, I think this episode, all in one, and all in all, it had good points, but I do think that out of four, in my opinion, out of all four, this was probably slightly uh, the weakest part of it. You know, some of the weakest portions of it. But it was still, it did have some good. I mean, I love seeing, it was frightening seeing that they actually had that hall of that museum of force users in that, behind that, prison cell, or basically within that certain section. I liked Leia's, chemistry, or her, just the acting chops in general, while she was being interrogated. And I do love the chemistry between her and Obi-Wan. I definitely love seeing that. But yeah, I think it was just, again, I'm hoping that, because there's we only have 2 episodes left, and there's a lot that needs to kind of be explained, not explained, but we need to see more. Like, we need to see something. I hope, like Cece said, I hope that wasn't the last interaction between him and Vader. That wasn't the last fight between him and Vader. Or if there's going to be a season 2, then maybe that's what's going to explain it. You know what I mean? Like, there will be another fight, because I think at this particular point, it would seem a bit rushed, as in a sense, to have him automatically in the next 2 scenes or the next 2 episodes go into a war or fight with Obi-Wan, knowing that there's still more that needs to happen in between. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't want it. I don't want the last 2 episodes to feel rushed, because so far, even with the Book of Boba, that last episode felt rushed. It really did to me. It might have had certain aspects that were cool, but it was still rushed to me. And I don't want to feel that way about this episode.
I feel like there's no way we don't end it with a rematch where, Kenobi gets his short-lived payback, because that would make the when I left you, you were the master line make sense, because he could be like, damn shit, you still got it, as opposed to where it's left off now is now he should feel like he's the master, and and he's surpassed Kenobi. But if Kenobi fights him like he is capable of, if he's not in his own head, that could possibly like have a different outcome that would justify the exchange that they have in New Hope, more so than what we seen how it left off. If they have a season 2 to have that rematch to justify that quote, then it's going to be years or whatever of us wondering if they'll even have a season 2 to justify that, and it would be so much drama about will they fight again and not. I think they'll definitely get it over with in this season here. I hope if they have a season 2, it's not about Vader.
Yeah. May not be. I don't really know. Real quick, we got a $5 super chat by Superhero Displays. I've loved each episode. However, after episode 4, I've become nervous, as so much has to be tied up in just 2 episodes. I just don't see how they can do it. And I'm hoping that there has to be some type of an announcement that there's going to be a season 2. I mean, we've gotten speculations. People said that it has been, confirmed, but has it? I don't think it has. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen rumors of it, but I don't think it has yet.
Yeah, why wouldn't they? Why would they have all of us waiting on pins and needles to make that announcement that there is going to be a season 2?
Yeah,
because they didn't want to spoil it if Kenobi lives or dies or not.
Well,
yeah.
wow.
That took a second. Sorry.
Yeah, I could see it where it's like it makes us have these conversations where they have a lot to wrap up in 2 episodes. So it's like most Marvel films where you think it's over, you see the after credits, and then it's like so and so will return in next installment. So it wouldn't surprise me if, like, closer to or even after the last episode, they say, "Oh, that was it," or "Oh, hope you like that. Round 2 is coming next year," or something like that.
Yeah, true.
I feel like Ewan just got caught up in the moment and just was like, "Man, it wouldn't be great if we did this even more." I think he just was excited. I feel like this is probably a one and done.
Yeah,
could be wrong.
I don't know. Could be. I think it's there's a lot they have to extend these last, because we don't as of right now we don't know how long these last 2 episodes are going to be. If they can't be 33 minutes, man,
Right.
they definitely
Probably
can't
will
be
be.
33 minutes. Because that
I want a 33-minute fight, let alone episode. This 33-minute shit, especially after Stranger Things. Stranger Things is
Yeah.
giving us damn near movie-long episodes. Y'all
Hell
can do the
yeah.
same.
And they said basically the second half of this is going to be like 2-hour long episodes or something like that. So
Mhm.
like, yeah, man, like give us more, like straight up, like extended. I don't like these 6 episode this I don't like 6 episodes. I think it needs to be more, especially when you're dealing with a show like like Obi-Wan. It needs to breathe. It
Mhm.
needs space to breathe. It's the story that needs to be told, and I think that you're suffering on that. It's a lot of suffering because you're limiting it to just 6 episodes. Same thing that they did with the Book of Boba, 6 damn episodes. You know what I mean? I don't understand why. Again, it's like, when we look at Mandalorian, it's the gold standard of Star Wars series right now.
Yeah.
Because it's done so well. You know what I mean? The Mandalorian is done so well.
The gold standard is exactly right.
Yeah, it's the gold. But I want it, and I want the other. Especially this is Obi-Wan. This is it's an OT original trilogy character. Like, come on, man! Like, do him justice instead of just. And the thing is, a lot of people, and it's another thing I've seen so far, is that people are blaming. The first thing that they basically do is blame Deborah Chow, bro. And I'm like, she didn't write this. She didn't write this. Like, she didn't write the show she's directing. And on top of that, the show is not bad, in my opinion. It's not bad.
She's killing it.
She's killing it. It's not bad, in my opinion. I think that she's basically doing a great job at what's been handed. So, again, I mean, just
shit. I want her to reboot the Book of Boba Fett and have her do all the episodes.
Yeah.
What's giving me a little bit of hope right now is that I guess the next episode, I hear Andrew Stanton, I think his name is involved in this one. So this dude like directed WALL-E. He wrote Toy Story, all the good Pixar movies, man. So I'm pretty sure that if he's got a hand in the next one, I think the next episode might be something special.
Oh yeah,
he wrote the next episode. That. Yeah, and I guess.
So who wrote this
I
episode?
heard rumors. This who am I seeing? Joe B. Harold.
Okay.
Yeah, this dude has had his hand in every single episode as far as the writing so far.
Joe B. Harold.
So, but Andrew Stanton is like, I guess he's a co-writer for the next episode. So that's gonna be and Hannah Friedman, whoever that is. I'm not really familiar with their work, but yeah. So the next episode, we'll see what happens. But I think the thing is that with this episode, there was so much more that needed to be developed. I'm disappointed with the writing of Reva just because her character's not developed. We still don't know what's her motive right now. I mean, we're all just like speculating, and we're kind of putting things together. But still, it'd be nice just to see that character develop a little bit more, and just to have that backstory as to why she has so much rage and pent up towards Kenobi specifically, and what is her actual what's her motive actually too. So there's a lot to wrap up in 2 episodes. And we'll just see what happens next week. Hopefully, we'll be back on better terms next week.
Yeah, I'm hoping, man. I mean, I wasn't completely disappointed in this episode, but there's a lot of disconnect. And like I said, it wasn't as cohesive as I thought it should have been. Cece, thank you for explaining to us about slaps and helmets and how people can't see. So that it definitely makes it a bit more believable and understandable. I definitely get that. And we do know that Obi-Wan is strong in the Force. I guess, they want to kind of rely on that, but that explanation was decent. I mean, I don't know. All in all, I think with the next 2 episodes, again, we have to remember that even in Mandalorian, there were certain scenes or episodes that we got that we want to label fillers. So what we actually saw as fillers. So Cece, let me ask you a question, because I remember last week we talked about What episode did we say felt like more of a filler? Was it episode 2?
I think it was episode 2 because it was like they.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't episode 2. I think
episode 3.
For me, actually, it was episode 3, where the only important thing I thought to that whole episode
Was Vader.
was the confrontation with Vader and Obi-Wan. Not that that wasn't an amazing scene, but if you were to describe that entire episode to someone, you'd be like, they went to a planet to rendezvous with someone. That someone wasn't there. They met a different someone. And then Vader showed up and fucked a bunch of people up and killed a child. It felt like a lot of filler up until that last scene.
Yeah.
So I could see where people can think that this is also another filler episode, which was 6 episodes. You never want a lot of filler episodes. But I will tell you, I'm happy that the helmet slap happened because I need a reaction gift for some stuff. Like, it just reminds me of the meme with like Batman and Robin, where Robin says something and Batman's like, no, and like is slapping the shit out of him. We just needed the Star Wars equivalent of that meme.
Yeah, just a slap, smack.
Yeah.
Like,
So somebody's going to actually
keep Kenobi's name out your mouth.
Yeah, somebody's gonna click that scene and make it a meme. So, I mean, again, I'm still hopeful. What do you think? What do you think about the next 2 episodes? Do you think it's we stand to improve, or are you kind of nervous about where it's going right now? How do you feel?
I think that the progression in the story is not what it should be, and with writing this way, what they're choosing to do, there's going to be a lot of loose ends and things that aren't wrapped up properly. So it's just confusing in that regard. The writing could be much stronger for all the characters.
Yeah.
And there are some scenes that we know don't need to be in there. For me, so far the most meaningful moment was in episode 3, where Leia asks Ben if he's her real father. And that's the only scene where it's like, oh my God, what did she just ask him? That's the only time in this whole thing that I've been like, what did she ask?
Yeah.
What? Oh my God. Of course she would ask this. She wants to know who her parents. And the next question would be, it's like, do you know who my parents are? Right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be the next question? No, they didn't give us that. So those were kind of the things that if Leia's going to be interacting with Ben, we would expect her to ask. And maybe once he holds her hand a little bit more in the next episode, he's going to be reluctant to tell her more, but he might say something like, I wish I could tell you. She's going to ask these questions. Of course she asked, who is my mother? And we didn't see those scenes. Those were kind of, off on the side or at another intimate moment between them. But they're implying this intimacy between them because he's holding her hand. He's holding on to it. And if you're going to imply intimacy, you have to follow through on that, including Ben and intimacy for him as a character as well. Men have feelings too. And of course, he's going to be shocked what he's found out about Vader. But there is more to Ben. He's a complex person, and we haven't seen that complexity yet.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, my feelings about the episode, it's just up until right now, I'm happy to see it. There's a lot that is good, but there's a lot that is questionable, and I'm just like, please give us a resolve, or at least before episode 6, announce the second season, or make an announcement that it's going to. So at least we're not speculating, and we're not and the expectation is not set that it's just going to end on episode 6. You know what I mean? And then it just throws it all away. I think they, Mario said, you said it needs to be announced now. Like, they need to basically come out and announce that now, so we have something to look forward to, and at least we can just, it's a sigh of relief to say, okay, these 2 episodes will play out,
right?
But we'll see more, and we're not just basically hanging on to this hope or this fear that they're not going to tie it up, in a good way. So I hope that they make that announcement, because the thing is, it was crazy because after the Book of Boba, Filoni, had to go in for damage control and explain why it was done that way. I don't want to see the same thing for this. Like, I don't justify the reasoning why you did Book of Boba the way you did it, just because that fans were disappointed. We don't want to be disappointed for Obi-Wan. Like, we really don't. Like, we want it to be great. You know what I mean? So no explanations, just give us a really, really good, solid story. And it was crazy because I was, listening today, what is his name? Trevorrow, who did Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. He came out and gave a response as to his talk with Kathleen Kennedy. It's when it comes to the script, and how he said that, he felt good that, they came to an agreement that his vision wasn't what would have worked for Star Wars. But when people that he bypassed the question of how that script got leaked. You know what I mean? And everybody who read the script said it was a great script. Like, they loved it, and they wanted to see that. But I just hope that this isn't also another situation where, don't want to blame this on Kathleen Kennedy in her direction, but it's like, I hope this isn't another, situation where she stepped in and possibly derailed something that could have been great. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm afraid of. Who knows? Well, we'll see.
Let's just hold judgment until the show actually ends.
Exactly.
And I think we can start making those calls. I mean, we have one episode right now that it wasn't the best, but we still have two more, which we hope they can rebound from. And we'll see. We just have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think that's it. We'll see, and hopefully these next two episodes really. I hope they're longer. Number one.
Yeah.
But I hope they explain, a lot, because I don't want. Vinny coming up here at like 4 or 5 in the morning, knocking on my door, snapping. You know what I mean?
I'm loving this series. Everybody seems down on it, but I love this. Even this past episode.
Yeah,
and it's weird. Like, there's a lot of talk about filler, but in a way, from a certain point of view, this whole series is.
See how you did that?
This whole series is filler. I mean, it's
true.
it's like a spinoff showing you like what happened in between the moment. That's exactly what a filler episode in an anime or whatever is. But there's a lot of dope filler episodes and a lot of animes, and I feel like this is like a really great filler arc. That's how I've been looking at it. I don't expect this to drastically change anything about the OG trilogy, and I just expect some cool moments along the way, and what happened in between moment of time, which I always thought was just Kenobi like chilling in Tatooine watching Luke creepily with binoculars and like not doing shit. So I love that there is something that happened, and I don't expect it to be drastic enough to have had remnants, carry over onto the OG trilogy, because it was never mentioned. So I don't want anything too drastic to happen, because then that wouldn't make sense either. So I'm enjoying the shit out of this. I'm seeing Vader again in live action. I'm cool.
Yeah, I get that, and I understand. I guess it's just one of those things where, even though we see it, I just want it to, in a sense, make sense. And you know what I mean? I want it to make sense, and I want them to do the characters justice. That's all I'm saying. We know that it's not directly, there's no direct, or what we want to say is that they can't overly exaggerate these episodes, because then it would have a direct effect on the OT.
Their hands are slightly tied.
Exactly. So they have to talk, but at the same time, unless they basically bring the Grand Inquisitor back, they've already done that, because that was a direct effect on what we've seen in Clone Wars. So that has to be explained, or they have to bring him back for it to make sense, because then you have to explain, is this one of those situations where there was world between worlds type of situation where, something was changed drastically in that episode that kind of had a ripple effect on everything else?
Sith don't die, so
no.
I think we also are going to see that
somehow the Grand Inquisitor returned.
Would you say?
I think we're also going to see that clone trooper again at some point. They were very deliberate in showing us that trooper.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that in the next 2 episodes, he's going to pop up somehow.
You think so?
He's going to come back all clean shaven just to get shot and killed.
I think he's still going to have the Jesus beard and the long hair, bro. And he just, you know what I mean? That mask will just come back. I don't know. We'll see. Any last thoughts going forward before we end this broadcast tonight? Any last thoughts? Anybody want to share anything? Anybody's thoughts on the direction that we're going to go and what you would hope to see in the next episode?
I think we need in the next episode we need to start seeing this communion between Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. He's been reaching out to him for the longest time, and now that he's kind of learning how to use the Force again, I think now is like a good time for Qui-Gon to reach out and either try to be that comforter to him or try to do something just to get him up and going again. I think we need to see Kenobi in some more training. I guess a training montage, a flashback scene like you had mentioned as well. But the thing is that
awesome.
But the thing is that I'm over here speculating, and this is what I don't like doing. This is why I don't like speculating, because when it goes a completely different direction, then at least that can lead to disappointment. So that's why we got to judge a show for what it is and not for what it's not. You know what I mean?
Just let it play out.
Exactly.
Let it play out. So I definitely get that, man. Any other thoughts? Anybody else? Any last?
I like, again, I really do want to see a training montage of just him. We've seen a little bit. We've seen Kenobi like get back into his mojo back a little bit, but I definitely would love to see him specifically take time to refocus and recenter and get back in tune with the Force. As far as, and they've teased the Qui-Gon connection there. It's really weird because Qui-Gon reached out to Yoda and never reached out to Obi-Wan, which doesn't really make sense because they have to kind of, close that gap, because, Yoda specifically told him to work on, the training for, Force Ghosts and connection with Qui-Gon, and it's never happened. He hasn't been working on it. Qui-Gon hasn't responded to him. It doesn't make sense. It's like, why would you reach out to Yoda to teach him how to become a Force Ghost, and then have Yoda tell Obi-Wan, hey, go figure out how to do that on your own completely without any help from me who was taught, and have Qui-Gon help you, and then Qui-Gon not help Obi-Wan. It just doesn't make any sense, because it seems like Qui-Gon was like, hey, I found out how to do this and I couldn't master it before I died, but here's what you do. And then it just stops there for 10 years. You don't reach out to
But didn't
Obi-Wan?
Yoda say that he was going to teach him though?
But didn't he tell Obi-Wan to try to commune with Qui-Gon for him to teach him, because he was going to be on Dagobah, but he couldn't teach him himself.
But he did say, teach you I will. So he basically did say that he was going to teach
Yoda
him at the end of the episode.
So Yoda.
So who knows, in between the time that we see Obi-Wan on Tatooine and dropping off the kids, or dropping off Luke. Yeah. Who knows in between that time if he did teach him and tell him what he needed to do to commune.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We see Obi-Wan completely cut himself away from the Force.
Away from the Force, yeah.
He's not going to have that communion with Qui-Gon if Qui-Gon is like supposed to be part of the living Force.
Exactly.
He reconnects with the Force, and there's like 400 missed messages from Qui-Gon.
Exactly.
I've been trying to reach you about your extended life warranty.
Yeah. And I think that even with that being said, that maybe there is a connection that Qui-Gon has been wanting to make with him, and maybe he's been there the entire time, but he felt as though that Obi-Wan needed to reconnect himself to the Force. He needed to go on his journey, and before he can do anything and step in, he needs to go on that personal journey for himself to rediscover who he is, for him to make an appearance to say, I've been with you the entire time, but I could not interfere. I had to let you, because remember, just like Obi-Wan didn't interfere when Luke went after Vader. It was his own path, his own journey he had to go on. He could not interfere. This is a journey that Obi-Wan has to go on himself. Qui-Gon can't interfere. He has to let him take this path, and then he'll resurface. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, just
the Force works in mysterious ways, Vinny.
Because Kenobi interfered with Luke a lot. I mean, Qui-Gon could have been like, all right, enough, snap out of it. I mean, here's what you do,
Yeah.
But I mean,
only interference when needed. Only interference, and the only interference that he actually gave him on Empire was on Dagobah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There was no interference off of Dago, because remember at the end of Empire, when he was calling for Yoda, I mean for Ben didn't answer
Didn't
because
show
he
up.
could not interfere at that point.
Jedi
So
are
only if
dicks
it serves
sometimes,
a
man.
purpose. He only interfered basically at the end of New Hope, or towards the end of New Hope, because it served a purpose at that time. Luke was still learning about the
Yeah.
Force.
Yeah.
He wasn't, he completely connected. He was still learning. So of course there had to be interference there. And to get him to that point, once he got him to Yoda, it's Yoda's responsibility. At that time, Vader is just, Obi-Wan is just a watcher. He still can't interfere. He can have these conversations. He can reveal certain things, but there still can't be that level of interference. You know what I mean? So I think that this is what we're, kind of seeing with Qui-Gon. You know what I mean? He's so far removed. And remember, Qui-Gon is the one who taught Yoda how to commune in the
Right.
Force. You know what I mean?
He might
So
just be mad at Obi-Wan for the reason you said, like, yo, you could have forced Ryan and caught up and helped me, but nah.
but nah, I don't know. We'll see. CC, any last words? Anything that you have on your mind?
No.
It's all right. End the stream. Call it a night.
Yeah.
Like I think because I recently said before, like I hope we see more Vader. I hope things get wrapped up in the next 2 episodes. Like just a lot of hope. I'm hopeful. I don't think that this show so far has been like as bad as some of the rumblings I've heard, where it's like, oh well, I knew I was going to be just this disappointed because of Book of Boba Fett, whatever. Like, no, I'm not. I'm still excited for what we've seen so far. I'm excited to see what happens next. I'm not gonna lie, like I might be like doing one of these and like flipping this laptop over if the series ends and it doesn't end with another fight between Obi-Wan and Vader. But we've got 2 more weeks of this. So
yeah.
time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell, man. Anyway, everybody out there, thank you for actually joining us. CC, what you got coming up on your show? Besides the constant flex, what else do you have coming up?
Great question. So I was supposed to do a print show this Tuesday, but I don't have a lot of interesting shit to say all the time. So the idea of
Yes, you
doing
do.
shows,
Yes, you do. All the time. Everything that comes out of your mouth is super interesting. Everything. So stop playing.
well, the idea of doing 2 shows back to back, like I would have ended up doing the print show and then a few hours later doing Kenobi at 1:00 in the morning for my time. So I decided to delay the print show. I don't know when I'm going to do the next one. But if you like to keep up on like Star Wars art prints, Matt Ferguson's Rogue One art print called Verge of Greatness, he's selling his APs on his website on Friday at 1:00 Eastern Standard Time. So if you want one, jump on there fast because they're going to sell out fast.
They'll go quick.
Right. I knew a lot of people really liked that print and were really bummed when they didn't get it. So other than that, we don't have group therapy this Friday where we talk about like the tie helmet and all the expensive shit we buy.
Yeah.
That won't be this Friday because it's every other Friday. So it'll be next Friday. And then, of course, it'll be technically Wednesday morning at that's 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be watching Kenobi. So if you are like me and you're crazy and you need to watch it as soon as it goes up on Disney Plus with me and my buddies over at Woe Gun 6, feel free to check that out. We'll be watching it very carefully together so that we're not getting copyright strikes from YouTube. But it turns into a pretty lively discussion afterwards. But yeah, it's a fun time. I'm always sleep deprived, but it's worth it.
You said you're always sleep deprived.
Yes, I went into work with like 3 hours of sleep, and my coworkers were like, "Oh, she's got the coffee. Oh, was Star Wars last night? Oh, Star Wars was last night." And I'm like, "Yes, yep." But I almost forgot about Kenobi because like we have The Boys, we have Stranger Things.
Yep.
I think that's
Miss
something
Marvel.
else.
Miss Marvel just dropped
Marvel.
yet. Yeah. So
And The Boys
Miss
has been
Marvel.
insane. The Boys.
Movies, I'm really like behind on movies. Like Fantastic Beasts I haven't seen. Top Gun, I'm hearing, is great. Jurassic World, because I love Jurassic Park as well. So
Yeah,
it's a great time to be a nerd right now, honestly.
Absolutely.
so much stuff. So much
CC, real quick,
content.
you said you mentioned the print was The Rebellion Built on Hope. Is
The
that
print
it?
is called Verge of Greatness.
Verge of Great. Okay.
It's the one with Krennic in the middle. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, surrounded by the Death Troopers. I think I have it up. I'm looking at his Twitter account. Because now you got me shopping for art too now, so I want to see
See,
what's going on. Is this
What I
it?
did, it's not. Dare
Is this
I?
it?
That's it. Yep.
All right.
So that's the regular
Nice.
one I have, and then he did one that was black and white, and then the like blaster fire, and then the actual fire is the only thing that's in color. That's the one that's sitting in
Now
my
move
living
us over to the side so you can see the rest of the print, and you
Hold
might
on.
you might
Hold on.
want it.
You said I might want it.
You just see who's on here.
Hold on. Where am I at? I got it because I got to try to figure out.
Push all
Hold
the
on.
buttons.
Yeah, there we
go.
go. There we go.
There you go. And yeah, look who's standing right above the Star Wars logo.
And this was
Yeah.
the latest piece of art I got. It's not Star Wars, so I might get kicked off the stream for this, but
Oh,
Mm.
okay. All right. Little
Yeah.
Batman Returns.
but it's also not a print. It's an
Is it
original.
actually? Oh,
Oh, it's not a
is it
print.
canvas?
It's a canvas. It's 18 by 18. You can kind of see like paint globs on it too.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's like
Nice.
oil
That's
painting.
what's up.
Yeah, I think it. So, I was told it was oil, but it's so shiny. I think it just has a varnish over it that I can kind of see on the side.
Dope.
Artist, I think his first name is Chris Cargill. There's someone who owns a I want to say it's a comic book store in Texas who auctioned that off, and the proceeds went towards victims of the recent school shooting. So
Okay.
I was very happy to buy that, even though I don't have a lot of original art, but it seemed like a really obvious choice because,
Dope.
you know.
Sissy, did I tell you that I got those wall decor set from Ringo Robot that's influenced off the Kenner? Shit, have you
Oh,
seen
those are cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
went ahead and bought it. I bought a set from there, so I just got to figure out how to hang them up. They're
Dope.
heavy, man. Those
Those
things are
will be-
fucking heavy.
because you collect the vintage collection stuff, so that would be great.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
if you like art prints or want to learn about art prints, you could check out some of the older stuff. On Hoth Off the Press is the print show I do on Rogue 16.
All right, man. If you haven't already, come on, man. Great content. CC3PO, Rogue 16 on YouTube and IG. I definitely, you already know I love prints and anything that has anything to do with General Solar. You can turn through up there. So let's just make sure that you just put that in there real quick. So I'd love to see that. So if you could slide some Rogue One stuff in there, I would love to see that. Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you for being on the show. What do you have coming up?
Well, on Monday nights, I normally would be streaming on Toxic Femininity at 8 p.m. Eastern with Lorena Creole. Sometimes on Wednesdays and Thursdays, you can find me here on the 1/6 Scale Man Network on Say What or Uncivilized Scoundrels right now.
Yes.
You can also find me streaming with Lorena Creole on our show Toxic Male Appreciation on Twitch at 5 p.m. on Thursdays. On Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern, you can find me streaming on Midnight's Edge in the morning with Tom Connors and Andre. Sometimes you can find me streaming with Lael and Robert Meyer Burnett on the weekends on the EGS network for our Midnight Musings show.
Yes.
And oops, I feel my necklace coming off. On Sundays, you can find me on my live Sunday brunch show on Positive Fandom at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please do check me out there.
Great content as always, and hopefully, I think we do got Midnight Musing this Friday or tomorrow night, from what he says. So I got to get some sleep. Make sure I do. But come on, man. Definitely follow her if you haven't already, and support the channel. So great having you here as always, and a part of this journey. Vinny, What's going on over in your
You,
world, bro?
uh, a couple more weeks at least, weekly, and then back to bi-weekly, I imagine. On Uncivilized Scoundrels. You can always catch me on Leo's Monday show, Comic Book Talk with Friends,
Yes,
where
yes.
we'll probably be diving into Miss Marvel next week, I imagine, and we'll
Yes,
soon
we
be
will.
have to be
Yes,
talking
we
about
will.
the boys and
Yes.
all the other
We'll probably match that in both in the same episode, both
yeah,
of
man.
them.
There's lot of comic stuff to talk about. And just looking forward. I got like I said, I got a few commissions wrapped up, so now I'm looking forward to getting some free after hours, after work time to dive into getting some Kenobi pieces started, and then get to my backlog of other pieces I've been meaning to do. You can find tons of Star Wars or Batman or whatever kind of related prints or art on Vincent Dunn Art on my IG, and then you can check out my store, vincentdunnart.storenv.com. And I also have now started branching out to I have canvas pieces for sale now too. So there's some bigger pieces now that I have on as canvas versions. So usually 18 by 24, and I did a few runs of those, and they seem to be well accepted. A lot of people are liking them, so I'm gonna try to start getting more broader range of different pieces on that. Try that out, and just if you need anything that you don't see on the site, commissions are always open. Just hit me up, tell me what you want to see, and I'll take care of it. All right.
Definitely. Again, you can actually find a link to his store on Vincent Dunn Art on Instagram. So definitely you want to actually support. As always, bro. Thank you for being here.
Always a pleasure.
Always, man. And my man, Mario, bro, what's going on, man? What you got coming up, man? And also, congrats on the simple fact that you have hit 500 subs on your way to 1,000. So
Yeah,
Nice.
man.
congrats. Everybody, if you haven't already, you're out there now. Make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to everybody's channel on here. Please do. You know what I mean? If other than Mario, we got to get everybody actually on to 1,000. Gonna monetize. Come on, man. It's great content. And we do this for you. So definitely make sure you do so. Mario, what's going on, man?
Yeah, like you just alluded to, I just hit 500, man, and I'm actually at 504, so we're slowly getting there. It's all good. I just want to thank everybody out there for showing me the love. I do have a giveaway going on. I'm going to go ahead and announce some details on that within the next couple of days. What's actually going on? Like I mentioned, it is a Galaxy's Edge lightsaber built that I will be giving away, and
Nice.
details on that will come in the next couple of days. And we'll be back on my channel next Thursday for Uncivilized, just to talk about the next episode 5 for Obi-Wan.
Yes.
Like I mentioned before, hopefully it'll be a better one, and we'll all be in better spirits. And man, we'll see. Yeah. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, y'all. But yeah, that's basically it for now, man. So it's always a blast, dude. Just talk Star Wars.
Definitely, man. If you haven't already subscribed to El Professor on IG and YouTube, also, if you haven't already, please do make sure you actually subscribe and become a member of the 1/6 Scale Man YouTube channel and on IG and Twitter. You can find me there as well. Not on there as much, but pretty much any content I put on Instagram goes straight to Twitter. So make sure you do that. We have Figure Flex Friday tomorrow night, where we actually flex with you, the fans. You show us your pictures. So definitely that's going to be hot and crazy. On Sundays, of course, we have Collectors Lounge International, where we actually just sit back and talk about the events, whether it's, in CC, we do talk about prints as well. So we talk about collecting, we talk about 1/6 scale collectible statues, everything. It's just off the cuff. We don't actually have anything planned out. Whatever comes up, we talk about it. So definitely it's a great show to be a part of on Sundays, and that's 12 o'clock noon. Yeah, we don't do take your position on Sunday nights anymore. There will be an announcement for the future of the live shows for that. It'll probably be like maybe once or twice a month now, not every other week. So stay tuned for that. Back with Comic Book Talk with Friends on Monday, of course, with Vinny, Brennan, and also Jason. So stay tuned for that. And then Say What next Wednesday. And then, of course, as Mario alluded to, will be on his channel for another discussion of Uncivilized Scoundrels. So, yes, definitely tune in. Great show. Everybody out there in the chat, we thank you guys for being on board. Everybody who continues to support and watch the channel. Make sure that you, again, sub everybody's channel, whether it's CC3PO, Vinny, El Profesoro, great content. So you want to make sure you do that, especially if you want to see Flex. She'll flex on everybody. So definitely, if you want to see that, make sure you
She came on here and
subscribe.
did her thing.
Yeah, she does her thing. Definitely, she does her thing. But yo, Vinny, I'm telling you, she is Dipset, just like you. I mean, literally Dipset.
Yep.
The whole celebration, bro. I saw her all of 2 times, and that was it. So yes, Dipset. That's the Dipset too.
Stuff to do, man. Stuff to do.
Stuff to do.
Turn around. Like, where'd she go?
She was gone. She was out. I'm gonna be with my friend. And that was it. That was it. But everybody, thank you for tuning in. Until next week, we love y'all, and we'll see you. And as always, stay uncivilized. We are out.
So uncivilized.